What's going on, guys? Thank you for joining me today. As you all know, we're having Lisa Knows, as she goes by, on the show to debate. As the title goes, what is wrong, or to be fair, not wrong with Erika Kirk? I've got some stuff that I want to cover first, though, before we get into the weekend that I need to bring to your attention. I've also got to run a spot for our sponsor today, Native Path, before the debate starts, and then we won't have to take a break during the debate. First, I want to state, as most of you know, we covered the Tucker Carlson interrogation, detaining, whatever you want to call it, in Israel yesterday. Video dropped of the incident showing Tucker in the airport posing for a photo with the security guard as they were getting their bags back after this alleged interrogation or detainment. Look, we want to remain in truth. I haven't seen a statement from Tucker as of yet. The video looks to contradict what he said to the Daily Mail. However, as is always the case, it seems, we don't have the full video. We have a 15-second clip at the very end. I'd assume there are cameras throughout the airport. What does it look like when they are taken in? I don't know. You know what it reminds me of, though, kind of? The video of the last part of allegedly Tyler Robinson jumping off the roof of the Los building after the shot was taken. What about the first part that shows him walking up onto the roof or in the stairwell or even taking the shot? Let's just say I'm skeptical about the videos that we are always shown. We'll see what comes out, though. Conflating the truth, whichever side it is not helpful. It's never helpful, you know? All right. So then yesterday, I also covered the FARA registration 7653 filed by Show Faith by Works, LLC, using the company Raincross Marketing to geofence and harvest data across evangelical Christian churches in America to propagandize these Christian congregations paid for by the state government of Israel. The foreign principal is the Israeli Foreign Ministry. Their stated goal is the largest geofencing campaign in U.S. history on behalf of Israel, on Christians. It states in this FARA registration all of this. I also brought up how Turning Point USA geofenced Charlie Kirk's memorial. Andrew Colvett admitted as much on Fox News with Jesse Waters in the immediate aftermath. And they have accumulated almost 10,000 evangelical churches, I think it's a little bit under that, across America since Charlie died. TPUSA Faith has the largest network of Christian evangelical churches in America. I've asked you all to send me tips if you're a member of one of these churches. Send me any messaging you're receiving to your cell phones about pro-Israel propaganda, and many of you did. And I want to show you this. This is the first text message that I got here. I blocked out the name. This text message reads, "Hi, this is Jen with Friends for Peace. We are listening to different views about Israel today and would like to hear yours. Got a moment to stop, or got a moment to chat, stop to end." This individual responded with, "Seriously, is this some kind of Zionist propaganda? If so, hard pass." And then the message responds and says, "I see how you feel. It can be frustrating when it seems like only one side is being represented. But I want to assure you that our goal is to have an open and honest conversation about the importance of the U.S.-Israel alliance." It then continues, "When Israel comes up in the news or online, what usually stands out to you?" The individual didn't respond. And then Jen asks, "Are you still around?" And now I want to show you this. Let me remove that, bring that up here. I'm going to present the screen to you. I then searched for this Friends for Peace online, and I came across this Reddit thread. Friends for Peace, Partners for Peace. These are all front names. But look at this. Consistent with the text messages I just showed you, if you take a look at this Reddit thread and you go down, I want to show you this one particular message that this individual left. you can actually dialogue with Jen or Jennifer, as you're about to see, or whoever. I mean, to be honest, it's an AI, right? It's an AI that is trained to issue propaganda and debate on behalf of Israel. This individual, defective zipper from a month ago, said, looks like it's from a pro-Israel lobby. They asked for my opinion and proceeded to defend Israel. Then, it's great that you're open to sharing your thoughts. Israel's a country that deserves our support, especially when it comes to defending against terrorist groups like Hamas. When you hear about Israel in the news, what comes to mind first? This individual then responds, which they do not deserve report, blah, blah, blah. Then Jen responds, I understand that you're feeling strongly about this, and it sounds really difficult for you to see the situation this way. Israel is a country that's just trying to protect its people from terrorist attacks. Okay, so you see what's happening here. This is a back and forth that this AI or Jen or whoever this is, that's coming to these individuals' phones. These phones. These are coming to individuals' phones in the vicinities of these churches that are being targeted to propagandize them with Israeli pro-Israel propaganda. These are Christian churches. We've gone beyond geofencing for companies to sell products and services, or at foreign governments or religious ideologies infiltrating churches in the name of education or evangelization. I mean, this is evangelism for the state of Israel. It's evangelism for Zionism. It's no secret that I've made myself clear. This is what I'm concerned about Turning Point USA and Turning Point USA Faith. I'm concerned this is what they're doing, and I don't like it. All right. That's a good segue into Erika Kirk, as that serves as a basis for my criticism towards her leadership at Turning Point USA. Before we get into this debate, though, I have got to tell you guys, you already know, we've got to get into the sponsor read for today. It's Native Path Krill Oil. You know how much I love it. And if you're not taking it at this point, I don't know what you are doing. But here we go. Let's do this quick ad, and then we'll get into the debate with Lisa. If you're taking ibuprofen or Tylenol every day just to deal with aches and pains, you've got to hear this. Those drugs don't solve problems. They just cover it up. For most people, the real issue is chronic inflammation. That's why I want to talk to you about Native Path Krill Oil and why it's actually better than regular fish oil for pain. Krill oil delivers omega-3s in a phospholipid form, which means your body absorbs them more efficiently. Fish oil just passes right through you. Krill oil also contains astaxanthin, a powerful natural antioxidant that helps protect those omega-3s and supports a healthier inflammatory response. The result? Better joint comfort, less stiffness, and support at the root cause, not just a temporary fix. And it's not just about pain. Those same omega-3s are excellent for brain health, supporting focus, memory, and overall cognitive function. This is why I'm so big on it. I've been taking krill oil for years. And what I like about the Native Path Krill Oil is there's no fishy burps throughout the day. I urge you to look into the benefits of krill oil as it relates to your overall health, brain health, physical health. Right now, visit getnativepath.com/Zach for more information and a special bundle deal at a fraction of the retail price, backed by a risk-free 365-day guarantee. Save your gut lining and try a cleaner, all-natural but powerful approach. Native Path Krill Oil helps your body manage inflammation the way it was designed to. Again, that site, GET, nativepath.com. Getnativepath.com/Zach. Okay. That krill oil is third-party tested, guys. I know many of you have asked me that. It is really good stuff, but it also says that in the description if you click the link. So, yeah. All right. Let's debate. Or what I hope turns out to just be a coming to an understanding of differing positions regarding Erika Kirk, Candace Owens, and Turning Point USA. There is a lot of tribalism around this. Hopefully we can cut through that. We can stick to the facts and we can be productive. I'm going to introduce our guest. She goes by Lisa Knows, and I'm going to read the profile here that she provided me. Let me pull that up. Lisa is a conservative Christian currently residing in the Phoenix metro area. She's happily married for 15 years and is a mother. For the last 13 years, she has been involved in pro-life activism with a focus on live debate in the areas of abortion and reproductive ethics, as well as online education and awareness. Good stuff. There's a lot that I'm sure Lisa and I would agree on. Erika Kirk, Candace Owens, and Turning Point USA are clearly not one of those items. Lisa has been going hard in the paint against what she refers to as the candy cult, the Candace Owens cult, and has burst onto the scene, I guess you can say, for her defense of Erika Kirk. And the messages exchanged between Erika Kirk and this 15-year-old girl, Jillian. At the time, she's not 15 years old anymore. This was, I believe, 10, 11 years ago. Lisa can clarify that. Other prominent Candace Owens opponents have shared these videos that Lisa has made, claiming that they debunk Candace Owens. I disagreed with that conclusion, that they debunked anything, and I broke down her videos, part 1 and part 2. She eventually published a part 3, which I did not cover on any of my commentary or show, but I covered the part 1 and part 2. Lisa saw my breakdown and contacted me to defend herself. Since I covered them, I thought that that was fair to let her come on and do so. So here we are. All right, I'm going to bring Lisa in here. Lisa.
Hello. Hello.
Welcome to the Zach Costello Show.
Hello. Yeah.
So I'm gonna let you begin here, and we can start wherever you want. But I think it'd be productive if we led off with what argument you are exactly trying to make today, and maybe how and where I misrepresented your videos in my coverage of them.
Sure. So my whole position is that Erika Kirk is not an abusive groomer. She is not sexually attracted to children.
Okay.
And I mean, we can go through the breakdown of how you misrepresented my views. There's plenty of them. I believe you missed important parts of my videos, especially the whole section where I go over pageantry and modeling and how mentorship programs are heavily a part of that, and how that would be very normalized to Erika Kirk, who is growing up in that world. You also, you didn't at all acknowledge the claim about the memes in particular, where Erika was simply tagged in these things. And anybody who understands how the internet works knows that anybody who has your username can tag you on the internet in anything that they want. At the end of the day, we cannot run around saying that you are responsible for how someone tags your username on the internet. I am not responsible for how someone decides to tag my username on the internet. And so unless we're going to start holding people accountable for how others are, tagging them in posts, that's just absolutely absurd. And the majority of the, flaming guns that we are seeing from people around Erika Kirk, the vast majority of them, Jillian just simply tagged Erika. There's no communication. There's nothing that shows that Erika sent those to her, right? She just simply tags her username in this meme. And at the end of the day, again, anybody can do that. And so, that was one of the things that you failed to address that I think is the crux of a huge part of this argument.
Okay. That's a good place to start, because I think that this highlights really, I think the fundamental meat of where we disagree on this. Your argument, if I'm stating this correctly, was that this was more like a typical mentor-mentee type of relationship between Erika Kirk and a 15-year-old girl, Jillian. And I think that your argument hinges on the fact that you essentially dismiss the inappropriate messages between Erika and Jillian, The memes that they sent back and forth, as you just mentioned, you claim, you
No,
just
that
claim.
that Jillian tagged Erika.
Yeah. Okay.
Erika did not send those to her.
That's right. That's right. So you're saying that because Jillian sent them to Erika and not the other way around, that Erika has no control over that. And that's fine. The messages that I find most problematic, and let me explain this. Let me explain this, because I think that this is a good context for the memes. The messages that I find most problematic are the messages of Erika telling Jillian, no friends. So no additional friends when she's posing with, I think it's a boy. I think it's another boy.
That's also a tagged post, Zach. That's also a tagged post, Zach. It's in my slides that I have available, but that is another tagged post. Literally both memes. So the Nemo meme, the gnome meme, and the no new friends are all tagged posts where Jillian is simply tagging Erika Kirk. She is not sending these things to this individual that we have any proof of.
No. But did Erika respond to the picture of her with another individual saying no new friends? Or you're saying that Jillian put that up there, that Erika had said that?
Yes, sir. Again, there's nothing to show that Erika ever said that or sent that to her. She's simply being tagged in Jillian making these statements. And so, yeah, we have no proof that Erika ever had those conversations with her.
Okay. All right. So leave that message to the aside then. The message, and this is where I think that you're just way off.
Okay.
You write off the text message thread of Erika saying, is the typo thread of Erika saying one sex as a typo for one sec. Your argument, and this is according to your video, is just that it's a little joke after making a typo, so that it's not a big deal. And that's where I totally disagree. Like, I think that text message thread is a big deal. I can understand making a mistake and correcting yourself. That stuff happens all the time. Like, you say, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to say that. And then you change the subject. Like, you get on to talking about whatever it is that you needed to talk about. But Erika then said, sex, yes, but not with you. That is let me just finish. That's not appropriate at all to say to your 15-year-old mentee. And it doesn't end there. She then went on to say, I don't bat for the other team just yet. So now she is suggesting, through joking, about sex with a woman. And this is with a 15-year-old. We can't lose that context. And now I want to loop that back in with the memes, because what you get is a pattern of inappropriate communication that's going on between a 25-year-old and a 15-year-old. You probably know better than I do. I don't know this for sure. You can tell me. But do the memes come before or after the sex exchange? I don't think it matters. Did they happen before? If they happened before and Jillian sent the meme and then Erika said that, then that message right there affirms the memes. If Jillian sent the memes after that text message, then this message would have just encouraged those memes. And then I just want to say, this is how I'll finish. If, as a parent, and I'm a parent of both boys and girls, your profile says that you're a mother. But if I saw this, especially with my girls, if I saw this type of communication going on, and this is between these three messages on social media, I would take action immediately. There's no question about it. Anyone watching this who is a parent, I mean, come on. We all know the truth here. If you would allow this type of mentorship, and I'm going to say this from a pageant girl, then I question the parenthood decisions. Like, I say that's not good parenting. I'd say, in my opinion, but I would say that's a fact. Like, you can't just throw away and write off that bad message exchange, because yes, Erika did nothing wrong if that text message doesn't exist. If a murderer doesn't commit a murder, he's not a murderer. Like, the only way you could debunk this whole point is if this message did not exist.
Here's the thing, Zach. Do you think that this is eligible for criminal charges to put her in jail?
I'm not necessarily going to go that far and say that.
You've stated publicly that it's not.
Hold on. No.
Yes, you have.
I say publicly what? I said publicly what?
You said that this is not enough for criminal charges. You don't think that this pushes to the level of criminal charges. But I'm saying that there is no black and white here. You are either an abusive groomer towards children and you deserve to be in prison, or you're not. There is no middle. This is one situation where I don't believe there's middle ground. You either have enough to say that she absolutely is sexually attracted to children. She wants to have sex with children, and that is where we are. Or did she have an inappropriate off-color joke as a 25-year-old single living in LA working in the modeling and entertainment industry? And we don't know where she was at with her faith at this time. We have no idea what type of an individual Erika Kirk was at this time. She's not married. She doesn't have children yet. She doesn't have any of that perspective yet. So are we willing to say, put her behind bars, slam the door? Or are we saying that an off-color joke is definitely in a different category than she wants to have sex with children? Because that is what you are saying, Zach.
I mean, look, calling it an off-color joke is severely discounting what the conversation actually was.
I completely disagree. It is an autocorrect situation that we've all had, and she's trying to take an awkward, embarrassing situation, and yes, is trying to make an offhand joke. But at the end of
about
the day,
having sex with a 15-year-old girl of the same sex.
She literally says not with you. That's why she's saying, like, wow, that was supposed to say sex, not sex. I don't want to have sex with you. Ew. Don't bat that way. She's literally saying, like, no, I don't
bat that way just yet.
It's just a joke, Zach. It's an inappropriate joke from a young single girl that is not married and does not have children. Again, this is 2014. Okay. In 2014, we viewed these things very differently than we view them now in 2016. But these are very, very serious allegations, and you are taking away from very real survivors and victims when you say garbage like this. This is the problem.
I think the problem, I think ultimately the problem is look, I'm not going to sit here and state that Erika Kirk is definitively a groomer. I have never said that. I've never said that. I am saying that this at least shows very, very questionable decision-making and behavior. Over a decade ago.
Are we going to hold her to that now as a 37-year-old woman? What I did when I was 24 and 25 years old, because I should be held accountable for now as a 36-year-old. No, again, unless it's criminal behavior, again, unless you are saying that you are willing to put her behind bars and bring charges based off of some autocorrect text messages and an offhanded, inappropriate joke, that is absolutely absurd. And that's what I'm saying. I'm saying it is a massive leap to go from she had some poor wisdom and some poor judgment on how she handled that and her response there to she wants to have sex with children. Let's put her in prison. That is a massive jump.
I mean, this is, again, you even said yourself that there's gray area. And I want to read this to you. I actually brought this up because I really wanted to know, because people are going into Chat GPT and asking, like, what would this qualify as? And the answers are varied.
It doesn't qualify.
Okay, well, let me read to you the Michigan Penal Code. Also. Did you look up the Michigan law? Did you look up the Michigan law? Michigan Law Act 33 MCL 722-675, Section 5. Number 1, knowingly disseminates sexually explicit visual or verbal material that is harmful to minors.
She did not do that.
A person knows the nature of the matter if the person is either aware of its character and content, of recklessly disregarding circumstances suggesting its character and content. And then the last part is a person knows the status of a minor if the person is either aware that the person to whom the dissemination is made is under 18 years of age. I mean, this is extremely I think that this message is extremely inappropriate, and if it doesn't fall under this law, it's pretty damn close. It's pretty damn close to doing that.
No, it doesn't even meet the definition of grooming, Zach. So when you look at the childsafety.gov website, so these are like experts who are examining what child abuse and child grooming actually look like and what the qualifications are, this does not even come close. First of all, it typically involves isolating the child. Erika Kirk is not making statements about, yeah, your mom, don't be talking to her, your friends, you need to separate from them. They usually try to get the child to move to a private platform. Erika does everything public facing. Obviously, we can still see it today. Everything is public and available. A true groomer, a true child abuser who is sexually attracted to children is going to try to move that child into a secret private space where no one else can see it. No one else would be able to view it today. Okay. You also have the fact that
I would argue that the text message, which you again are saying is from Jillian, so that we can't take it, so that we can't include it in this, would be no new friends. Like you're saying that doesn't exist. We are looking at the data in front of us on Twitter.
I literally have it, and it is a simple tag. Erika does not send that to her. There is no proof that Erika made that statement. Again, anybody on the internet can tag you in whatever they want, Zach.
So why would Jillian be tagging Erika in that statement?
Get her attention. We don't know. We don't even know that Erika ever even saw those. People who have bigger accounts, again, at this point, she has already been Miss Arizona. She's already run in the Miss Universe pageant. At that point, she has quite the online presence. There are multiple people who have celebrities, or now we would call them influencers or whatever that would be. They get tagged in stuff all day long, and they have tags that they never even see. We don't even know that Erika ever even saw those memes or the No New Friends post because she was simply tagged in it.
Okay. This is why I think that
I'm going to finish making my point. So the other thing, sexualization. Sexualization is where child abuse material is often being shared. So the groomer or the abuser will get the child to take inappropriate photos or videos of themselves to send to the abuser. We never see this happening. We also usually see that pornographic material is being exchanged. The abuser slowly starts to introduce this material to the child, desensitize them to it over time, and they build that up. This is not happening with Erika. And then lastly is the element of control. There are often secrecy. There is shame, there is threats, and there is coercion used to keep the child silent. So if you talk about this, you're going to get in trouble. Your parents, I'm going to harm your parents. You can't say anything to anybody. You know, you're going to get grounded. You're going to get in trouble. We do not see any of that type of control or coercion happening with Jillian from Erika.
I would say we see potential evidence with her saying no new friends. I don't think we can just discount that. And then
I don't know how many times I have to tell you that.
And then we do have the photo shoot. Oh, you don't know that.
Yes,
you don't know that. How?
Yeah.
How do you know it? How do you know that did not come from Erika?
Because it's there. Her in the post. She simply tags her username, and Erika does not interact with that post in any way, shape, or form. I don't know how else I can explain this to you, but I mean, we've got it here. It's slide number 5. Do you want to pull it up? It's slide number 5, Zach. It is simply her saying, did Erika just text me this? Hashtag no new friends. Oh my effing God. I can't. Laugh, laugh, laugh. It's not even a tag. Like, Erika is nowhere in here. She is not engaging with this post. And the comments underneath of that are all current from when Candace blew this whole thing up, and now people are going back and commenting on it. But there is nothing here that shows that Erika Kirk sent this, had a conversation with her about it, discussed it, none of the above.
So you're calling Jillian a liar then for posting this?
We don't know. She's a 15-year-old child. I have no idea. Again, she's trying to get the attention of this person that she idolizes, obviously. But we don't even know that Erika would have saw this, especially because she's not even tagged. So I thought she was at least tagged on this. She's not even tagged on it. So
I mean, so again, like this is like the argument, like okay, it debunks because these things aren't real. Like you're saying that she's lying. Like
I'm simply
we can only go off the data that we have. Like again, if I'm concerned about what my child is doing online with someone, And I see this, and I see the memes, and I see the text message thread that we just went through of the sex and the sext and the batting for the other team and all that good stuff. And then I see my daughter says, did Erika just text me no new friends? Oh my, OMFG. I'm going to be like, okay, that fits your definition of potential isolation. We have evidence of sex messages going back and forth. And then
No, we don't.
you mentioned the photo shoot, which was set up by Erika Kirk.
Yes, which we'll get into, because
I feel like that checks like 3 or 4 of the boxes from what you just described. Like,
except that Candace is claiming that there's no parental consent or parental like knowing that this is happening. This is another thing. In order for someone to groom and abuse a child in this way, typically the parents don't know about it or have knowledge of it, and we fully know that Jillian's mother was aware of this relationship. In fact, we also have Jillian mentioning Erika's mother.
Are you
so that shows that there are multiple parental eyes on this situation.
Are you concerned? Well, okay. In fairness, you think that Jillian had parental consent for the photo shoot because of what Jillian said in her messages about her mom taking her there, about her mom putting her foot on the gas pedal and taking her there. So again, if I'm going to use your argument, your logic, I'm going to say, well, I think Jillian's lying about that. And you can't take that as evidence, but I'll grant you that. What 15-year-old
do you know?
My question to you would be,
do you know that is paying for all these things to prep for a photo shoot, because we know that she got her nails done, which her mom scheduled the appointment for her nails to get done. We have her getting a new dress. We have her getting a professional makeup appointment where she's getting her makeup professionally done. So again, who do you think paid for all of this? Who do you think drove her? She does not have a driver's license or a vehicle at this time. So
I don't have 15-year-old daughters, but from what I do know is that like 15-year-olds go to the mall with their friends all the time. She's a sophomore in high school. I'm sure she has a bunch of friends that can drive.
Afternoon, her mother would have had to have literally excused her from school to do this photo shoot. It was on a Friday. Maybe she skipped school. Maybe she didn't tell her mom. Like, we don't know any of this stuff. Like, these are all assumptions that you're making. These are all assumptions, big assumptions. These are big jumps that you're making to imply parental consent. No, and we don't know that. It's not a big jump when she's literally mentioning that her mom drove her.
Okay. So the only time she does that is after the photo shoot, correct?
Yes.
Do you question
the timing? Has to be when they're driving home.
Do you question the mom's judgment at all as a mother? Do you?
Yes.
Me too. So you said specifically, I'm going to read this quote. Let me pull this up. You said in one of your videos, it is obvious this girl does not have a lot of parenting going on in her life. She's being raised by a single mom, and it is very clear that her mom is giving the whole cool mom, I'm your friend, not your parent type of vibe. So why do you think that it's a dunk or a flex that her mom is actually facilitating this?
At the end of the day, her mom does some things that I think are questionable, like letting your 16-year-old get a tattoo, which Jillian documents on her page, going to get a tattoo at 16. I mean, I obviously would not allow my child to get a tattoo at 16 years old. But taking her to a photo shoot where her mom is actively there and present, and again, paid for multiple things to get her ready for it. These are simple headshots. So if she was able to look at the guy's website, which we've all been able to see, very clean, very straightforward, everybody's covered, nothing inappropriate, no scantily clad, salacious young women, even though Candace Owens is saying that that's the case. Again, like at the end of the day, if you have a child who wants to get involved in modeling, the reality is that they do start as teenagers, even though I don't like that. That's just the way that the industry is. By the time you are 30 years old, you are considered a dinosaur when it comes to the entertainment, modeling, and pageant industry. And so they do start when they're 15, 16 years old. And so, yes, they're going to need headshots for a portfolio to start that process. So, you know, we can say whatever we want about her parenting, but if she looked at the photographer, she looked at the type of photos that he was producing, and she felt like he was safe. And she's with her child. She's escorting her to this photo shoot. She's there with her. She's driving her home when it's over. And we also have one of the images. Jillian has posted the images, and she's completely covered from head to toe. She looks very appropriate for a 15-year-old. There's nothing salacious about the photos. They are very clean. They're very age appropriate for a 15-year-old for simple headshots. Doesn't even show cleavage, like nothing.
Okay. And this is where I want to get into, because this is where ultimately I have a problem with it, because I do not think that Erika Kirk's intentions were pure in this situation. I don't.
I disagree.
I don't think she was looking out. I don't think it was a Christian attempt to take care of a vulnerable girl. I think that it was targeting, and I think that she did it to recruit her into the pageant world. And have you looked into the pageant world financial dynamics? It works like a pyramid scheme. Current or past contestants, they get paid for bringing others in.
But at the end of the day,
if there's one thing that I know for certain, women in their 20s, whether it be Beachbody, doTERRA oils, whatever it may be, I've still got them from my sister. They're still sitting in my house. It's like a moth to a flame type of attraction to pyramid companies. And
but you don't have any
like, who
proof
cares?
that Erika engaged in any MLMs or pyramid schemes. So I don't know why we're going off of this.
She's in the pageant world. I'm literally talking to you about what the pageant world does. They do this.
Entire jobs are pageant mentors and pageant coaches.
And she gets paid for it. And
we don't know that she was getting paid for any of this. Actually, we don't even know that the photographer got paid. He could have done this for free time. We don't know.
I have a feeling that Erika Kirk cared about the money and was getting paid.
Well, I don't care about your feelings, Zach. I care about what's in front of us. So at the end of
that's
the day,
just from pattern recognition. But
yeah, okay. Also, Erika did not start this this communication. Jillian did, and we have that in her tweets.
Erika went to the apartment with her boyfriend at the time.
Wrong.
Right?
Nope.
Okay, then tell me what the timeline was.
Sure. So
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If a 15-year-old approaches you, regardless of who does it, you don't respond the way that she does. Like, unless you have something in mind, unless you're trying something.
We don't.
Which again,
we don't know because we don't have the DM. But what we do have is in her tweets, Jillian is literally saying, after the photo shoot was booked, she literally tweets. It's actually the second image if you want to pull it up. But she literally says, all of this happened. She says, going to bed with a smile on my face, all because I sent a DM. It's right here. All because of a DM, I'm going to bed smiling, right? This is on 3/6/2014. And so, and she says, hashtag best mood ever, right? And so literally this says she actually meets Erika out in public. We've been told they met at a restaurant. Again, we don't have any way to verify that. That's just what we're being told. What we're being told is that the owners of the home that Erika was renting, because she was staying in Michigan to visit her boyfriend at the time, all we have is that she met up with the owners of the home that she was renting, and that they had their granddaughter with them, and that Jillian was a friend of the granddaughter. We don't know when anything was exchanged. We don't know if then after that meeting, she reached out to Erika online and sent this DM that she's referring to. But it seems that she's the one that started the communication, asking for her to help her with modeling, whether that's tips, like, can you help me set me up with a photo shoot for headshots? And Erika obviously at some point decides to oblige that request and help her with that.
I can see they're all because of one DM, I'm going to bed smiling. That would hashtag best mood ever. That to me would imply that Erika responded to a DM. Would you agree as far as that goes, that Erika DM'd her?
No, I'm saying that Jillian reached out with a DM asking for help with, again, can you help me to make a connection in modeling? I need headshots. I want to start a portfolio. I want to get involved in this, blah, blah, blah. And then, yes, Erika obviously responded at some point saying, sure, I can help you with that.
All right. Well, that's all speculation. I mean, you have no idea. You have no idea what.
We don't have the DM. We just have her saying that she made the first contact. That's all we have her saying.
Can I ask you something? How are all of these messages dated 3/6?
Because this girl shares every aspect of her life. She literally would tweet anywhere from like 15 to 20 times a day. I'm not even kidding. Like scrolling through these feeds for days and days and days. I mean, and this is actually more than what we originally had. So when I first looked at the account, there was even less because it wasn't all available to the public. Now it's all been opened up to the public, and there's even more, which actually I believe again bodes well for Erika Kirk, because in the beginning it looks like their communication is more frequent because you couldn't see all the texts that were in between, all the tweets, I mean, that were in between. And now that it's fully open to the public and we can see everything, it's actually clear, and it shows that Erika and her did not have very much communication at all. It's very few and far between. There were like entire months where there was no communication at all. And then shortly after the photo shoot is set up, after she helps her with that, she makes that connection for her. And then their conversation drops off that summer. So she really basically talks to her a little bit, gets the photo shoot set up, talks to her for a little bit after that, and then it dissipates. So it seems like she helped her with the things she wanted help with and then went away, like, which is not the sign of someone who is grooming and sexually attracted to children. They would hang on to that relationship for dear life and try to milk it for all that it's worth. You're not going to talk to a child, help them with this one thing, and then be like, all right, deuces. Like, that's not how that's going to go.
Well, okay, but then if you're doing this out of your Christian heart to help them to make sure that they're okay, then you're just gonna something's gonna happen where you're just gonna leave them and never talk to them again. To me, it makes more sense that whatever Erika was trying to get from her, she found out she was not going to get that, and then she moved on from it. That's what this tells me. That's what this tells me.
She asked for help with a specific thing. She helped her with it, and they went their separate ways. Like, I mean, Erika probably obviously got very busy in her life. She ended up moving. We know she ended up moving to New York. Jillian obviously is going to be graduating high school here, going on to college if she decided to do that. Like, they're just going to get busy in their lives. Like, again, we're just going to have to agree to disagree on that. And we don't have all of the information. So.
All right, fine. So what I want to bring up here is the conclusion from your second video. And I use this in my commentary to say, oh, this is quite the debunking video that doesn't do any debunking, because your conclusion was, and I'll read it to you. Hindsight is 2020, and being a parent, would she look back on this and choose to have cleaner boundaries in place?
Clearer boundaries, yes.
Clearer boundaries in place. Thanks. It's not the brightest shining moment of her life. So you are admitting that there's something wrong here. You're admitting that this is not appropriate. Ultimately, is how I'm reading this.
I'm saying that two things can be true at the same time. Can a 25-year-old who's also young and pretty still dumb at 25 make wisdom wise? Can they make some bad decisions with the way that she chose to handle an awkward autocorrect text? Yes, that is true. But again, is this a massive jump to say that Erika Kirk is sexually attracted to children and wants to have sex with children? Yeah, I think that we can hold to, you can make a bad decision and not handle something correctly, and also not go as far as to say that she wants to have sex with children, because that's the leap that you're trying to make. And that's where I'm saying that that's absolutely ridiculous.
But that's also not true. That's not the leap that I'm trying to make. This to me is another data point of Erika Kirk not being who she said she is. That's ultimately my main issue with this.
How does this show that she's not who she says she is?
I'm also not convinced that your conclusion is accurate.
How does this show that she's not who she says she is?
Because also during this time, she was doing multiple dating shows. She's on that dating show saying, sex sells, babe. Oh, don't put that on there. That's against my religion. She's clearly
that would have been that was years after this.
This is all kind of in her pre-Charlie years. Okay, I'm kind of bringing in the bigger picture of kind of everything that happened prior to Charlie.
Again, we don't know where she was with her faith at that time. She literally says in her testimony, she was raised Catholic. She went to Catholic school, went to Catholic mass, and she literally says in her own testimony, if you go back and listen to it, that she did not have a relationship with Christ until she came into Protestantism. And we don't know exactly when that happened in her later on in her adult life. Just because someone is raised in Christianity, that does not mean that they have accepted the faith as their own. That does not mean that they have a relationship with Christ. We know plenty of people who are raised in Christian homes who do not acknowledge it as their own until they are much, much older. And
Fair
so
enough. Fair enough. I went through a period where I revolted, my faith. I think that's not an uncommon thing. What I didn't do was exchange inappropriate messages with a 15-year-old about having sex or about joking about being gay. Like I didn't do that. I didn't do that. So there are certain mistakes you make that are way worse than others. And I think this is one of those situations where this is the type of mistake that, like, it's not like the common mistake that people make when they're resisting their faith. Like,
okay. So again, how is it her fault that her talk to text auto corrected? How is that Erika Kirk's fault?
It's not. It's the two messages afterwards that I have a major issue with.
What two messages afterwards?
Which speaks to very questionable decision-making, moral compass, lack of character. And I don't think necessarily, I think maybe she would say that she'd go back and have better boundaries, but I'm not convinced that she is. Like, I am not convinced that Erika Kirk is who she says she is. This is my issue with her. Okay. And I'm allowed to have this criticism as a Christian. It doesn't make me unchristian to be distrustful or skeptical of who Erika Kirk says that she is. It seems like she's still after the bucks. She's still after being the center of attention, which is what she's been kind of shooting for her whole entire life. This viral social,
Candace Owens is not shooting to be the center of attention.
She wanted to make it as some superstar, as some media figure.
Hey, and you're putting all of your eggs in the basket of Candace Owens, which you are allowed to do. But are you honestly going to?
I'm really not. It has nothing to do with Candace. It has nothing to do with Candace. It has everything to do with my own observation of reality and what's going on right in front of my face.
Again, is Candace Owens shooting for fame? Because that's where you're getting all of your talking points from. So,
how is it a Candace Owens talking point, for example, to say that Erika Kirk is still wanting to be in the spotlight? This is something that she has been trying to do her entire life, and this is based on observation of her past.
Trying to do this her entire life.
I don't care what Candace Owens is trying to do. I don't care. Okay. I don't care.
So she's allowed to spew whatever she wants on the internet, and that's completely fine. But Erika Kirk, I mean, she was like in the entertainment industry. She, worked in media. Candace Owens also works in the entertainment and media industry, so it's okay for one to do it, but not the other. That's just hypocritical, Zach.
Can I show you something? Can I show you something? I actually do have a video of Charlie and Erika that I want to bring up that I think at least can provide some perspective on what many people are unhappy about when it comes to Erika Kirk. Let me pull this up.
Study shows that married women with kids are the happiest. Why do you think that is? I mean, it's just nature. I mean, just becoming a CEO of a shoe company is not going to give you happiness.
Women have it so mixed up. You can have a career after children, but if you try to have a career while you have your kids, there is no such thing as balance. That is such a myth. I can't spend half of the day doing one thing. I missed out half of that time with being with the kids. So like, you have to choose where your heart has to be fully with the home. You have to make that decision on your own, but you can always, after your kids are in school or after they're in high school, you can always go back to work. You can always find a way to get back into the workforce. But if you miss those precious first few years, that is so hard to make up because memories are so much more important than an added paycheck. And he had made mention at the end, like, Erika will do a great job running it.
Okay. I think that sums up the frustration which a lot of people have with Erika Kirk right now, and the behavior that she's currently putting out there.
Okay, have you listened to Erika's testimony by any chance?
Which testimony?
Of her life.
I've listened to a number of different Erika Kirk pieces of content since she took over as the CEO of Turning Point USA.
Well, a huge part of her testimony is that she was the career-driven boss babe. Like
Yeah.
that was absolutely what she was all about, because she was raised by a single mom. She was raised that you should not rely on a man.
Okay,
And
so
that
you're admitting what I just said about her continual
on.
striving to be this
let
star.
me finish.
Okay.
So it wasn't until, and she says, it wasn't until I met Charlie Kirk that perspective completely changed. And I realized that having, getting married, having children, building a family, building a legacy, that was absolutely far and above, more important. And my calling to motherhood was far more important than a career and being a boss babe. Right. And so she acknowledges this, that I was living one life, and meeting Charlie completely changed those values and those perspectives. Now, her husband was taken from her. He was killed, right? She did not have a choice in anything that's going on with Turning Point, and stepping up to become the CEO and trying to now juggle being the CEO of Turning Point.
Yes, she did, Lisa. Yes, she did. She had the choice. She didn't have to become CEO.
She had a choice for her husband to be assassinated in front of the world.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I said she had the choice to become the CEO of Turning Point USA.
She no longer has the privilege to just sit at home and take care of her children. She does not have a husband. You want
Charlie was a very wealthy man. I don't know what the life insurance. Charlie was a very wealthy man. I don't know what the life insurance policy was, but he was also getting paid. He was also getting paid pretty well. He was also getting paid.
This is not about money. It's not about a 9-to-5. It's not about a career. She said,
what is it?
So much more than that. It's about his legacy and what he built, and making sure that it continues. She can't just sit at home and cry, Zach. She could take off, 5? How many months will be good enough for you? 6? A year? 2? How long should she sit at home and cry every day, Zach, before that's good enough for you? Because when she comes back, it may not be there. It would be burnt to the ground by then. Is that what you want her to do?
I think
she doesn't have the privilege of having a husband. That privilege has been taken.
I don't think that Erika Kirk is continuing Charlie's legacy on. I think Erika Kirk cares about Erika Kirk.
I think
that's what I think. I think that she is
completely subjective, and there's no facts in that at all.
I think she loves the spotlight, and that's based on the observation of what I see in her behavior since Charlie has died.
And Charlie didn't like the spotlight?
There is not one moment where Erika Kirk will not pass up something good for social media.
That's not true.
It's very true.
They literally just did another tour stop on the Make Heaven Crowded, and she was not there because her mom is also dying. Didn't know if you were aware, but her mom is literally dying right now. And so she is her power of attorney. So she's responsible for her mother's medical care, which shows that her mother has deteriorated so much that she's not able to make medical decisions for herself, because Erika Kirk is now her power of attorney medically. So not only is she trying to juggle Turning Point, her children, the death of her husband, but now she's actively watching her mother basically die in front of her, and trying to spend every minute that she can with her and make every memory that she can with her and her children. And so at the end of the day, no, she has not. Candace Owens is in front of a camera more times a week than Erika Kirk is. You've got to be freaking kidding me.
I am very sorry to hear about Erika's mother. And the only reason that I know about that is because Erika Kirk put it on social media of her mother dying.
Because she has said in interviews that she is juggling being her power of attorney, and because she was asked about keeping a Sabbath, and she said, I'm trying to, as best as I can. I have to kind of piece parts of it together, because I have to be available for my mom as her power of attorney, to be available for her appointments. And if something comes up, if there's an emergency, I'm the person. So she literally talked about juggling all of that. And so, yeah, I think she's trying to give more context into her life, because she's talked about these things in interviews, and people are just going to say that she's lying. And so
she said in public interviews, can I just have my one thing? Can I just have my private life? When she's out there filming herself crying over Charlie's
that's
corpse.
Absolutely false. What she said is, can I have one thing on where Charlie is buried, because the public would vandalize it?
She said, can I just have one thing? Can I just have one thing? Can I just have one thing? It's pretending that she wants everything to be. She just needs this private. She just needs this private stuff. Nothing is private with her.
Completely out of context. She said, "Can I have one thing mentioning where Charlie is buried and having a private place to go and visit his body and take her children there privately?" That is where she mentioned, "Can we just have one thing that is private for just our family?"
How do you go from you said that what Erika Kirk was prior to Charlie was this aspiring boss babe, want to be a star, want to make it. You know, you go and look at her Wikipedia, you go and look at her profile, impressive resume, America's boss babe. That again, that's who Erika Kirk wanted to be. She says that when she met Charlie, those things changed. And you just saw that video right there. Now Charlie is gone. And now she's back to America's boss babe. So did those values just get thrown out the window? Because she still has 2 kids at home.
Zach,
she doesn't
her
need the money.
husband was
She doesn't need,
assassinated.
okay, fine. She doesn't need the money. If she wants Charlie's legacy to continue on, my opinion on what Erika Kirk should have done is hire an interim CEO. It sounds like she's got a lot going on right now.
I
where
don't
she doesn't
agree
really
with
have
that.
time to be the front man for Turning Point USA and Turning Point USA Faith and all of these things, and endorsing JD Vance and all of these things that she's doing, running AmFest. Like, she is literally not who she says that she was in that video that we just saw. And she's not. She obviously,
it's almost
obviously
like
doesn't.
people grow up and
She obviously doesn't care.
Wild concept, I know.
She obviously cares more about being the front man of Turning Point USA, being the CEO of Turning Point USA, being that person that's out there than she does to be home and taking care of her kids.
And
so,
where are you getting that from?
From reality, from literally observing reality.
That she's putting that in front of that. No, I think that these things can, again, 2 things can be true at the same time. Turning Point can be very important and valuable to her because it's literally what her husband built from the time he was 18 until the literal moment that he took his last breath. He died literally doing Turning Point, right? And so, yeah, this is his legacy on the public stage and everything that he has built with this organization, right? And at the same time, they also built their home and their family. And that's also important. Like, both of these things can be equally important at the same time. And she can do both. You do realize that there are mothers who get up and go to work and have children every single day, right?
I do. Yeah, I do. Do they share the same values as Erika Kirk that she's marketed to us over these past however many years? I share the same values
as Erika Kirk, and I work, Zach.
Lisa, this has nothing to do with Erika deciding to work. It has everything to do with who she's pretended to say that she was and who she actually is in reality. It's the disconnect from who she says she is versus who she actually is. Do you not understand that?
No, I don't think that you understand that she did not have any choice over this. Her husband was killed. She has lost the privilege to be a stay-at-home mom.
I don't think she has. No, she has not. She has not.
Yeah, it's stay-at-home or it's stay-at-home or Turning Point completely just falls apart.
That's not true. That's not true.
I do think that that's
why
true.
Wouldn't she be able to hire a CEO at Turning Point USA and still make money off of the ownership that she has?
Because the CEO was not in the weeds with it the way that she was with Charlie. She's said multiple times, I was Charlie's vault. He poured everything into me. And you should know, as a spouse, your spouse should be your vault. My husband pours everything into me and I share everything with him. There's no secrets between us. Everything is exchanged. She literally says, I have journals going 10 years into the future where Charlie put down every instruction, every detailed everything for this company and this organization and how he wanted it to go. She knows intimate things that we will never know about Charlie Kirk. She is the person.
Look, if I die, you're not going to see my wife come in here and start taking the lead front man on my business or my
your
stuff.
Life is also not like that of Charlie Kirk, and we cannot understand the life or the lifestyle that they live.
Are you going to take over? Are you going to go take over your husband's job if he dies?
Again, you can't even compare. That's like apples to oranges. That's not even a fair comparison, and you know it. They are living a life that none of us will be able to understand. You are trying to hold Erika Kirk to a standard way outside of her reality. I can't even imagine how frustrating that would be.
Erika Kirk looks like she was very happy just to toss out all of those values that you just heard her talk about when Charlie was alive, to snap right into America's Boss Babe CEO, collecting the merch sales for Turning Point USA, being the front man at the Make Heaven Crowded tour.
The fact that you think she killed her husband. And so,
what?
Yeah, this comes
down to what?
That you hold to the fact that you think she killed her husband. And so ultimately
Wow, that's elite. That's a
You
lead.
think she's responsible for this. So of course you think that she's primed herself to be in this position. I believe that this is something that happened to her. You believe that this is something that she made happen, possibly. And so that's where we're going to disagree.
Yeah, I don't think that that's fair. I don't think that that's fair. My criticism of Erika Kirk has developed over the last few months, and
Do
I
you
understand.
believe that she's responsible for killing her husband?
I think that as a part of this investigation, all of the leads should be looked into. I don't believe the lone wolf narrative. I'll come out and say that right now. I want to know of any outside influence or covert influence that was taking place, how Tyler Robinson was involved in this whole thing. I think there were others involved in it. I think that it's bigger than just Tyler Robinson, and I think that these leads need to be investigated. That's what I think. That's what I think. And I think that
I
Candace
don't think there's
Owens
enough facts or evidence to support that at all. But
you don't think there's facts or evidence to support that this is bigger than Tyler Robinson? If that's the case, then you're just not paying attention.
I think that he was in chat rooms with other like hardcore liberal lefties that were indoctrinated by all of this like trans ideology, whatever. And yeah, sure, we can look into who was funneling money to him through different organizations. And those, again, they've got all of his Discord conversations and online conversations. And I'm sure that they are and have looked at those people. But as far as anyone at Turning Point and Erika herself, absolutely not. I think that that's absurd, and there's no evidence or proof to support that they were connected to it in any way, shape, or form.
As far as that goes, I think it's definitely interesting and worth it to pursue all of the leads, whether inside Turning Point
And
USA
we
or
don't
outside.
know what the FBI is pursuing or investigating because they haven't told us, and they're not going to tell us.
So aren't you concerned that we are not going to be told the truth about what happened to Charlie Kirk?
I think during the trial we will be told. But in the meantime,
I'm
leading up to
skeptical.
that,
I'm
no,
skeptical. Let's just leave it at that. Let's just leave it at that. We've been through what? We've been through a whole bunch of conspiracies that we've been told that we're crazy for believing that have all turned out to be true. You yourself are vouching for the Epstein files to be released.
Have you read the affidavit on Tyler Robinson?
I have, actually. Yes, I have.
Okay. So they're pointing to a lot of evidence there that like you can't just fake things like that. But okay. At the end of the day,
Lisa, are you not concerned that our authorities will not tell us the truth? Are you concerned that our government will not tell us the truth? Yes or no?
I don't trust our government, but I do believe, again, if you look at what's happening in that courtroom, it is Turning Point and Erika Kirk who are trying to get transparency in this case. It is Tyler Robinson and his defense attorneys who are trying to keep transparency and to keep cameras out of the courtroom. They don't want you to know things. In fact, they're filing motions on top of their motions to keep things secret and to cover the reasons on why they want them to be secret. It's unprecedented what they're actually doing in the courtroom. And it actually shows, again, Erika is the one pushing for transparency here. It is not Tyler Robinson and his team. They are doing the opposite. They don't want you to see in that courtroom.
If it turns out that in the courtroom, they put the evidence forth, they show the videos, it's all conclusive. They show the video of Tyler Robinson walking up onto the roof. It's a verified video. They show him taking the shot. Like I'm willing to sit here. I just want to know the truth. I just want to know the truth. And I am very concerned
until we get closer to the trial, because the state is not going to show all of their cards to the defense before we get into the trial. That would be the dumbest move ever. Like
I am concerned. I am concerned that they will not divulge the full truth to us. I think that in order to keep us safe and for our own good, they will tell us that Tyler Robinson was a lone wolf. It wasn't anything bigger, even if it really was, so that the consequences are not catastrophic, so that the people in power can stay in power. That is what I'm concerned about. And I think the only way that we can fight
and
that,
Turning Point are connected to Tyler Robinson, how?
Why do you keep bringing in Turning Point USA and Erika Kirk
because you
to
said
the
that
Charlie
they should
Kirk
be
investigation?
investigated. Why should they be investigated? You said all leads need to be looked at. Okay, but you would have to make a connection from Tyler Robinson to Turning Point and Erika Kirk. Where are we making this connection at? Why are we saying that they're involved somehow when nobody can
Well,
connect
not
these
not
individuals?
not necessarily. Like, for example, I think Lance Twiggs was involved. I think he was involved that day. And they're
Yes.
like, and again, what is the exact connection? I don't know. But the point is that we want all of these leads and all of these avenues investigating. And I think
so
that
does Erika Kirk. You and Erika agree on something. I'm so glad.
then why would she tell Candace Owens to stop? If somebody, let me just ask you this.
Because
If
Candace
somebody
Owens
at
is
Turning Point
crazy,
USA,
and she doesn't even present real evidence. She's not a journalist.
if somebody at Turning Point USA, if they were somehow involved in this or had some connection, wouldn't that be a very important piece of information to know? So
Again,
why wouldn't Erika want to look whether internally or externally to find out the truth about what happened to her husband?
You would have to make a plausible connection between Tyler Robinson and Turning Point, and that has never. There's nothing like. I don't even know where people would be pulling that from. Like, where are we going to link these two? Like,
the connection doesn't have to be between Tyler Robinson and Turning Point.
He took the shot. If he took the shot, there has to be a connection.
Allegedly, it's innocent until proven guilty here in America.
Okay.
Like, you don't know that for sure.
Allegedly, if he took the shot, you would have to have a link between those two, and there just isn't anything to be had. That's ridiculous.
Okay. Your analysis, as far as I'm looking at the Charlie Kirk investigation, which I care a lot about. Like and you can probably relate to this, and probably everybody here listening for the most part probably can. Like, especially as Christians who are on the right, every single one of us took Charlie Kirk's assassination personally. Everybody did. Like, we all care about it. I think some of us are more skeptical than others that we're actually being told the truth. And I think we need the people. I think we need someone like Candace Owens, especially in this day and age when we're not told the truth about hardly anything, to go guns blazing, flip over every stone, burn every bridge to find out what the truth is. Like, that's what I think. I think that there is value there. I think she's brought a lot of very good points to the table. Has she been perfect? Not 100% of the time, but she's also made adjustments and gone back and admitted and made corrections, which nobody on your side ever talks about, right? Like, she's admitted that she's gotten too angry, but like, as far as it goes, like, we are in a situation now where we are never told the truth. And like, thank God we have alternative media where people can speak up. But now we've got a number of people on your side that are trying to silence anybody that has dissent and label us all as conspiracy theorists. Like, what if that happened during COVID? Oh, it actually did, when they shut down anybody who had any dissent or any doubts whatsoever about the COVID vaccine. People were losing their jobs. They were censored, shut down on social media. And this is what we're running into here. And literally, we turned out to be right. We turned out to be right.
This is not
there is a segment on the right that is anti-establishment, that's not going to just do what we're told. And we are going to push back on those in power when they seem to be taking advantage of us. And it happens time and time again.
Except the difference, Zach, is that when it came to the COVID vaccine and COVID and the protocols around it with remdesivir, I can't even say the word, but I can't say it, but the medications and the protocols that they were using that were killing people had actual scientific data, studies, research, real evidence. The thing with Candace Owens is she brings none of those things to the table. Even something as simple as saying, I spoke to Jillian. We've got nothing. Jillian's name and her photos are already all over the internet. Why could she not produce a single message, a single email, a recorded phone call conversation? Nothing. She has brought nothing to the table to say that she actually spoke to this girl. We're supposed to just take her word for it. Oh, and I also spoke to somebody at Turning Point whose brother's cousin, whose uncle told me last Friday. Like, again, like, she's muddied the waters. God is a God of order and a God of structure, right? He's not a God of chaos and confusion. And all Candace has brought to this entire thing is chaos and confusion. And so, no, I mean, we're looking at like Israel and France, but she never comes back to Israel or France or actually ties them into anything. The maroon shirts, the Egyptian planes that have been massively debunked because they weren't even on the same continent as Erika Kirk. Also, that's not how you're going to track somebody. You're not going to track them through a plane. You're going to track them through computers and phones and their technology and their devices.
Lisa,
right?
to be fair, as far as the planes
okay.
go, she brought up like 90 something instances and only like 35 of them were actually debunked. So that's actually not totally true what you just said.
67% of the plane logs have been debunked.
Don't you think
literally being anywhere from plus or minus 3 days from the date of travel. And again, some of these planes were not even on the same continent as Erika Kirk. And again, you're not going to track someone with a plane. That's utterly ridiculous.
Are you going off of what that individual had shared that Alex Jones put out?
No.
What are you going off of when you type that?
The guy's video that King what was his name?
Yeah, that's what Alex Jones had shared. And from what I understand, he had columns mixed up. Yeah, he had columns mixed up though. I think from what I understand.
Okay, well, people can go look at that for themselves. But at the end of the
day, in any case, this is what I don't understand. Everybody freaks out about, oh my gosh, look at her bringing up Egyptian planes. Like, if that were the case, wouldn't that be like an interesting piece of information for everybody to take into consideration?
No, because you don't track people that way. It's not a data point. Again, you have a cell phone attached to your hip 24/7. If I'm going to track you, Zach, what am I going to use? A plane or your phone?
Lisa, what it may have been are some form of rendezvous or meeting. Like we don't know what it was. The point is, this is the point. The point is Candace is conducting an open source investigation and she's taking a lot of risk to do so. Like, she's got skin in the game here. Very well. They're drumming up all sorts of lawsuits against her. So she knows.
They're well-deserved, but.
That's your opinion. But at the same time, she knows that she could be in trouble for the things that she is saying. So to me, it shows actually a lot of courage to be doing what she's doing. And again, this is an open source investigation where she's putting leads out there. Can I just finish this? Because this is the value that I see in what Candace is doing. She is putting this open source investigation out there. She has extremely wide reach. She has a lot of connections. She has a lot of people that can do investigating and digging on these things that can then report back to her. This is something that has never been done before. I understand you are going to turn over stones or put leads out there or pursue avenues that turn out to be nothing. Like, that doesn't mean that the entire thing is irrelevant. It doesn't mean that the entire thing is debunked. Like, that's totally unfair to do. And I'm going to give you an example because I've been covering a lot of this since September 10th. As I said, I cared about what happened to Charlie Kirk. I really wanted to know the truth. And I really do not want our government or whoever is in charge to withhold the truth from us for our own good. So that being said, I covered a number of different sources throughout all of this. Gary Melton, you're going on Paramount Tactical tonight. I covered a lot of what Gary was saying early on. I appreciated his perspective, ex-military gun guy. Okay. When Candace shared the video of the bullet not exiting out of Charlie's back, Gary himself was extremely skeptical about what was going on. He even said that a 30-06, like, that is highly unlikely that could happen. And his proposal was that Charlie was wearing body armor, and he went through a number of different body armors. He bought body armor to bring it into his show, to show everybody, because in the video you could clearly see Charlie's nipples and the outline of his breast when he was sitting there. And Gary was like, he had to have body armor on because there's the likelihood of that bullet not passing through is extremely unlikely. It turns out he was not wearing body armor. So to use this example, does that mean that because Gary was wrong about the body armor, that his entire investigation should be completely debunked because he was wrong about an avenue that he was exploring? Like, it's a totally unfair standard to apply to Candace, yet you don't apply it and nobody applies it to anybody else. And it's ridiculous, in my opinion.
Why do we have small creators like Gary doing the job that Candace Owens should be doing? Why is it Hold on.
What do you
hold
mean?
on. I just let you talk for like a straight 5 minutes, okay? So let me rebuttal this. Why is it that Candace Owens, again, she touts herself as a serious investigative journalist. She has said this many times. We can clip it all over the place. So why is it that, and you even said she has lots of resources, lots of connections, all of these things. Why is it that she has not brought a single expert onto her show with any like letters behind their name? We're talking somebody who is an expert in ballistics, forensics, child trauma and the human response to trauma, grief, body language experts. I mean, these could be people that even agree with her. They don't even have to like disagree with her. She could even bring people on that fully agree with her, because let's be real, you can find an expert these days who could take either side on that, right? So why is that we have smaller creators who are doing way more investigative work than Candace Owens is? She's supposed to be the voice on this entire thing and all of these other possible options outside of Tyler Robinson, but yet she has not brought a single expert that is in these fields of study, which are very difficult to be. I mean, we're talking, some of these people have to go to school for very, very significant amounts of times to become an expert in some of these fields, right? This is not something that Candace can just talk about like she knows these things. And that's the thing. She talks like she has so much confidence, when in reality, she doesn't know what she's talking about like 90% of the time. She's not an expert in these fields, and she's not finding people who are. She's not talking to them. And so she hasn't even been to UVU since Charlie was killed. Why has she not been there to look at the campus, to look at the distance, to walk up those stairs, up onto that roof, to walk the path that Tyler Robinson walked? Why do we have people like Gary doing this on these small channels, these small nobodies that nobody is really hardly even aware of, but Candace is the one who should be doing these things. She should be doing this work. She is the investigative journalist. Why are you guys okay, and why are you content with slop? That's what I want to know.
Well, I don't agree with you that it's slop, but also it's just because she hasn't had an expert to come on her show specifically. Well, she's had Mitch Snow on. I'm joking. I'm joking. Okay.
We're not even going to go there.
That's one of the things.
She has
That's
not
one
had
of the things that I've been. But that's one of the things that I've been skeptical about. That's one of the things that I've been skeptical about. Like, again, you guys are so quick to call everybody like on one side or the other. Like in the Candace cult, like there are plenty of people that are like taking this stuff in and discerning what's the truth and what's not. Like, we're all trying to get at this. Like, it's totally unfair. Like, you see this all the time. Like, you can't be Christian and support Candace Owens. It's like, come on. Like, that's totally unfair. We can discern for ourselves what the truth is. Nobody here thinks Candace Owens is God. They say the same thing to us, and you know this well, about President Trump when we supported him. You can't be Christian and support President Trump. Like, stop. Like, just stop that. It's not helpful and it's not productive. Like,
I do believe that you can be a Christian and support Candace Owens. I would say that you're wrong. I would say that you are severely in the wrong direction.
Okay, and we would argue, and I think there's many people that would argue the opposite.
Well,
I think there's many people that would argue the opposite.
She literally does and supports things that directly go against Scripture. So at the end of the day, is your discernment very wrong? Would I question if you truly have the Holy Spirit? Like, that's something you need to sit down and have a conversation with God about and figure that out. But at the end of the day, I would say that as a Christian, if you're still following and supporting Candace Owens, you are severely misguided. There are things that she directly does that are direct commandments from God that she completely just like doesn't care about. So
what would those be specifically? Like, what do you mean by that? And I guess I don't want to harp too much on like Candace's theology. I don't go to Candace Owens for her theology, to be honest with you. So
right. At the end of the day, we are given very clear instructions on how we are to support widows, fatherless children, where we should be when it comes to gossip, slander, rumors, especially when it comes to a fellow brother and sister in Christ and the division within the body of Christ. It's literally in Proverbs as one of the top things that God hates is bearing false witness, not running from lies, and dividing the body of Christ. And so that's hugely the fact that she's saying that Charlie and herself have actively engaged in demonic new age practices with astral projection, psychic abilities, electrokinesis, all of those types of things. Yeah, as Christians, we would say that nobody should be engaging in those things, especially not someone who's professing to be a Christian, right?
But okay, that's unfair for you to say that. Like, you use the argument that Erika Kirk didn't know what she was doing when she was talking to this 15-year-old girl inappropriately because she wasn't mature in her Christianity yet. I mean, Candace has said on her show, and I don't know if you know this or not, but she has said, like, yes, Charlie and I were talking about these things, but that was before I came into the faith. Like, she didn't know. She didn't know that they were demonic. Like, she's not saying that she does them now. She was talking about the conversations that her and Charlie were having in the past. So this is an example of where you're applying the double standard and it's not fair.
I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think that any of it's real. I think that that's all hot garbage. I don't think that she was experimented on by the government as a child. I think that that's, again, she started off with this story. This is what she does. She starts off with this narrative, and then she always finds a way to work herself into that narrative. She has to work herself, this thing that was happening with Charlie, but like now it's happening to Candace too. Candace was a part of it. Candace experienced that too. So, I mean, it's a narcissistic trait that they have to work themselves into the storyline and into the narrative every single time. And at the end of the day, like, I don't think that she has provided any true evidence or facts or proof to support any of this. And she's perfectly capable of doing so. If she wanted to provide that she actually spoke to Jillian, she could provide plenty of evidence to actually show us that she talked to her. But she doesn't do that. She chooses not to do that. She chooses to be ambiguous, or at the very least, I don't believe that she spoke to her at all. I think that it's completely concocted.
Yeah, I mean, and neither you or I would know that for sure.
Other than the other people who are also saying that they spoke to her. I mean, at this point, we have 3 individuals who are professing to have spoken to her, and they're all relaying that Jillian said something completely different from the other one. So somebody's lying.
Yeah, but you've already accused Jillian of lying, though.
No, I did not
Is
say
Jillian
that Jillian
lying?
was lying. I said that Jillian tagged Erika in posts. And at the end of the day, anybody on the internet can tag you in something, but that does not mean that you concur with their statements or that you've ever even met that person.
I mean, all right, we got into the Charlie Kirk investigation and the assassination because you brought up that I don't like Erika Kirk because I think she killed Charlie. And I don't think that that is necessarily a fair statement from you. As far as it goes for me, I was a fan of Erika Kirk and Turning Point USA while Charlie was alive and in the immediate aftermath of his death. All right. Like, when Charlie got killed, I was all in. Like, I donated money to them. I bought 6 Freedom shirts, and I was a big supporter of Erika. Like, I covered a number of Erika's speeches when she first came out. Like, I did commentary on her stuff. I wanted to hear what she had to say. When she gave her first speech in Charlie's office, and she said that Charlie's goal was to make heaven crowded, like, that was inspiring to me. That was inspiring to me. I don't like where this has gone. But can I explain to you, like, I
think that
concern?
Candace has met her goal. She wants to destroy Turning Point. I think she hated Charlie Kirk. I think that she's made it very clear that that's competition. She's a very competitive individual. And the amount of people who were just like you, who are now on the other side, I think that shows that she's very good at her job, unfortunately.
You don't think that a valuable piece of information, because this is where one of the things that I thought was most valuable that Candace has brought along, and I talk a lot about this. I'm not a Christian Zionist. I don't think that Zionism is compatible with Christianity. I'm happy to have that debate. I don't think we want to get into that right now. That's not what we're here to talk about. But I think that what Candace did in exposing how Charlie was treated the last months of his life and all of that coming out is one of the most valuable pieces that she has provided to this whole thing. Because in the immediate aftermath, there was a whole bunch of people that tried to jump in here and really hijack his legacy on behalf of Christian Zionism in Israel. And Candace stepped in and said, no, that's not true. And we wouldn't have known that if Candace didn't have the balls to release the text messages, which came from Andrew Colvett. And Andrew Colvett was involved in all of this. Like he gave that text message thread of Charlie saying, because of the stereotypical behavior of Jewish donors, I have no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. There are multiple clips of Charlie in the last 6 months of his life speaking out against the state of Israel. I've covered a number of them. But Andrew Colvett submitted that text message thread to the authorities because he thought that it was relevant evidence. He gave it to Candace Owens. Okay. And also, Andrew Colvett called Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson and told them that they need to watch out and they need to be careful. Okay. Andrew Colvett is the one that said, he's the one that has the text message that who told Candace Owens this, that they are going to kill me. You're saying that everything Candace Owens spouts is off, or whatever her sources are. One of her main sources is Andrew Colvett, who has obviously stopped giving her that you can cut off that source because obviously we know how that's all ended up, or at least where they are right now. But here's what it comes down to. Candace Owens explaining or exposing, I guess you can say, how Charlie was treated by all of these Zionist donors unlocked this massive and very important conversation that needs to be had in how we are being influenced by a foreign state and by a religious ideology. Like, we as Christians should be very alarmed about that. And here is the kicker for me. Here's the kicker. Because what Erika Kirk didn't do is she didn't come out and take over the CEO role and say that I'm going to cut ties with every Zionist donor that made Charlie's life a living hell, who was pressuring him for the last 6 months of his life. She didn't do any of that. She didn't say that I'm going to go in and weed all this stuff out, even if it means losing money. If she did that, I would you put me in a cheerleading outfit and I will be fangirling right here for Erika Kirk. She didn't do that. Instead, okay, and this is what Candace says. Charlie rejected deals, which Candace says that Erika has now and Justin Strife have allowed to go through. Say we can't prove that. Fine. Let's table that one. What I do see here with this Make Heaven Crowded tour, with the geofencing that Turning Point USA is doing, with the Israeli government paying Christian front companies to geofence, Turning Point USA Faith has the largest network of evangelical Christian churches across the country. I am very concerned that the Erika Kirk-led Turning Point USA is now just working to have a Zionist influence on American Christians and American politics. And I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And that is my main and real issue that I have with Erika Kirk. I don't believe that she's not Charlie. That's an unfair criticism, I guess, you can have of Erika. Last example.
How are you defining Zionist? Because I think that is important here.
The definition of Zionism is the belief that this current state of Israel is the biblical Israel and that they have a divine right to the land that they are in. That is Correct. What a Zionist is. And I do not, that is completely antithetical to Christianity.
Why? I would say that
Jesus fulfilled the promise. Once Jesus fulfilled the old law, and there is no longer.
Are you saying there's no prophecies to come that deal with the Jewish people or the land that is Israel?
The land promise has already been fulfilled.
No.
There is no current land promise. It's been fulfilled. And this has been the Orthodox Christian belief for over 2,000 years.
Again, we have scripture that tells us that we have prophecy that has not been fulfilled yet that directly involves that land.
The land promise was fulfilled when Jesus, the Messiah, came. The individuals that rejected the Messiah are not currently living under any promise. What they must do in order to be grafted back on, I guess you would say, as Paul writes, is to accept Christ as the Messiah. That's what they should be doing. But as far as the land of Israel,
Correct,
the individuals who rejected the Messiah have no entitlement to that land whatsoever. And this is the Orthodox Christian belief for 1,948 years.
What is the purpose of the tribulation?
Explain more. What do you mean? Like, are you talking about in Revelation?
Yes. What is the purpose of the tribulation?
Explain
purpose
it
of the
to me.
tribulation is to punish Israel for the rejection of Christ as the Messiah. right? They're going to go through hell. They're going to go through literal hell on earth.
But Israel, the Israel that they are talking about is not the current nation state of Israel.
Okay. So we have a country. You're
The
telling
church
me
is the new Israel.
You're telling me that we have a country the size of New Jersey that has been all over the news for the last 2 years now and is only picking up speed. And you think that that's just a coincidence that all of these things are so everybody is interested in talking about Israel, all of this anti-Semitism that's on the rise and again drastically increasing, and that snowball barreling down that hill faster and faster and faster. You're telling me that there's nothing spiritual behind that there's that I mean not only that
I think the attack is on the true Israel, which is the true church. That's what I think. That's what I think.
And I think was literally prophesied in scripture that Israel would become a nation state in 1948. You know that that's a fulfillment of prophecy.
Okay. No, it's not. It's not. I don't know where you're getting that from, but it's not.
It absolutely is. And that the Jews who were scattered across the earth would start to make aliyah and start to come back to the nation of Israel, which we are literally seeing
again.
Right
this is
now.
this is all in Christ, and it's all in the church. Like again you guys are substituting the wrong Israel.
That is still literally being fulfilled. So you're saying
You're
that
substituting
all prophecy has already been fulfilled. Is that what you're saying?
Look,
as far as Israel and the Jews, the prophecy is done. There's no more to come. Is that what you're saying? Because that's not what scripture says.
Israel will be gathered together, which is the church of Christ. And the opportunity is for anybody to accept Christ. It has nothing to do with the current nation state. But in any case,
except that it talks about the Jews, like at the end of the tribulation, they've gone through literal hell as their punishment for rejecting Christ. And then it literally says that they will cry out to Jesus to save them. And he literally does.
The Jews, yes.
Yes. The 144,000, which are the remnant that will come back that will acknowledge Christ. Again, it says every knee will bow, every tongue will confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. That is talking about in the end, right? That all of these people who previously rejected, they're going to go through all of these horrible things. And some of them, in going through those things, will turn back to him. Those are Jews.
Good, but it applies to the Jews. It applies to anybody who's rejected Christ. In any case, I don't think that we're not gonna.
The new kingdom comes down into Jerusalem where it is on earth right now. How can you say that land doesn't matter when the new kingdom literally comes out of heaven and lands on Jerusalem as we know it, like where it is right now? And we will live there for a millennial with them in the millennial reign with Christ. Like, I again, there is plenty of prophecy that is still to come that has to do with that land. To just completely write that off is insane. So again, this is where, I mean, I guess call me a Zionist. Do I think that like when it comes to geopolitical policy and all of that stuff, like how much they're involved with our country and our country involved with them and all of that, that's all a conversation that we can have. Do I agree with everything that the Israeli government does? No, I don't. But when it comes to the fact that God is not done with that land and he is not done with the Jewish people, and you will not convince me otherwise.
I don't necessarily doubt that. I just what I doubt is that the current Bibi Netanyahu nation state of Israel is the biblical Israel. I think they like to position themselves that way. But
I don't think that the government is.
I think it confuses people because it's the same name, but that's ultimately not the Israel that we're talking about. Like
it's just that everything happens on that piece of land. Jesus is going to come out of the sky on a cloud. It says the whole world will see him when he returns. His heel will strike the Mount of Olives. That mountain will split in half. An earthquake, because a fault line runs right from that mountain. It will open up the gate, and he literally enters in through that gate. It's the same gate that he came in on a donkey. The Muslims have literally bricked it up because they think that might stop him from just in case he is the Messiah, let's brick it up because, and put a graveyard in front of it because, the Messiah can't walk through a graveyard, which is ridiculous. But it literally says the mountain will split in half. A massive earthquake will literally bring down that gate, and he will come into the city through that gate. I don't know how you are going to deny that is not the same gate that we can go look at right now, the same Mount of Olives that you can go to Jerusalem and stare at right now. Like,
All right. All right. I mean, look, I don't think we're going to come to an agreement on Zionism, but my point is that I do not want or do not think that Turning Point USA or Turning Point USA Faith and its promotion of evangelical Christian Zionism is something that I am going to support. I'm not. And here's what I'll say. If that's what Charlie Kirk envisioned for Turning Point USA, then I don't agree with that either. Okay? I don't.
Okay.
But what it seems like is that he was shifting his views in the last 6 months of his life.
I disagree.
Well, that's not fair because that's not even using anything Candace has providing us.
Yeah,
You separate
again,
all that out. He
no,
said
I
he
think
said as much. He said as much
frustration
too.
over some donors, some frustration over some donors, and some things that you say out of frustration is not the same as what his actions were. And his actions leading up to his death in the last months of his life show that he very much supported Israel. He was literally working on a PR strategy. He was literally telling Israel, you have to figure out this PR problem that you have. He was literally working on how to better debate the Israel issue on college campuses because he was getting frustrated because he was constantly being asked about it, and he wanted to talk about America and America policies and America and the American government and our issues, right? And he was constantly being asked about Israel. And so he's like, look, these kids are not dropping this. They're not letting it go, even though it frustrates me and I don't want to talk about it. At the end of the day, they're going to keep pushing it. So I need to deal with it. I need to address it. And so that's why he was talking to all of these different people from all of these different opinions on how to best address it and how to deal with it. And Israel's massive PR problem. That's why he sent the letter to Bibi. Like, so at the end of the day, yeah, he was frustrated by some donors. When you work in a field where you're dealing with and reliant on sponsorships and donors, yeah, that's part of the game, is keeping your donors happy. At the end of the day, that's that line that you're constantly walking and the balance that you have to have. But that does not mean because he was frustrated and said something in a text message out of frustration that he just was ready to throw the entire. Again, he disagreed with certain things that the Israeli government does, which I think a lot of us do. He didn't like the influence that Israel was having on American politics in particular, which I also would agree with. But as far as completely writing off the entire equation of the Jews like being allowed to exist in the nation of Israel and having that right and their right to defend themselves from Hamas and other terrorist entities, he was very much in the camp that they absolutely have the right to do that. And he was actively fighting for that. And he talks about all the time. When I went to Israel, I saw the real life steps of Jesus, and it brought the Bible to life to me. And Israel is one of the only countries that has done a good job at preserving these Christian holy sites. The Muslims have not. They've destroyed them. And so, you know, he's like, there's a lot of things there that do need to be preserved. And he was all for maintaining that and fighting for it.
I mean, we know that Charlie had a past of being a Christian Zionist. We know that. At the end of his life, obviously his views were shifting. And do you believe that he turned down the deal from Bibi Netanyahu?
I don't believe there ever was a deal.
Do you believe that the Hamptons retreat was an intervention for him to push back on some of his shifting views on Israel?
No, I believe it was to do exactly what everybody who's been there has said. It was to discuss different debate strategy, how to better answer these kids' questions, and to better address the entire Israel, Gaza, Israel, Palestine debate and conversation. And how do we, like, you know, what is the strategy for this? How do we?
Well, then why did
together and figure this
Zionists
out?
like Seth Dillon get so mad at him during this debate, which he admitted himself in the testimony that he
Because
had?
you can look, I mean, we've had moments between you and I that have been heated. Am I going to walk away from this saying that I hate you, Zach? No, I think that I think that we've been able to have a really good conversation. We've been able to discuss a lot of things, but did we have moments that got heated in this exchange? Absolutely. Because you're passionate and you believe what you believe in, and I'm passionate and I believe what I believe in. So don't mix up passion for anger. I think that there's a difference there of like somebody can truly be passionate and believe what they're saying, but that doesn't mean that like I hate you. I would hope that you wouldn't walk away from this hating me either, right? Like I think that like and he said like there were some times where like in that conversation where yeah we got a little heated. It's a back and forth. It's a debate. But like that's part of the game, and like Charlie of all people would have been very much used to that.
I agree. I mean, and here's what it comes down to. I think that I've outlined pretty clearly what my issues are with Erika Kirk. As far as it goes, I think that what we saw or what we've seen is that she had younger years, and we can call those the pre-Charlie years, where she was involved in behavior that I certainly don't think is appropriate. I think that we see that with the text message exchange here with the 15-year-old girl. This whole situation, obviously,
But
this is
are you going to
controversial
hold
because there are
Candace
people.
to that same standard?
I am just hold Candace to what standard? Let me just finish this. Let me just finish. I see Erika Kirk as somebody in her younger years who was doing all these different TV shows. She was modeling. She was striving very hard, as you have already admitted, to be that boss babe in the spotlight. Like, that's who she wanted to be. Her resume is full of CEO and nonprofit, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's who she was gunning and striving to be in her pre-Charlie years. She met Charlie and she took on this identity where her values changed. She took on more of a Christian identity, and maybe her faith did deepen. Maybe I say maybe because her behavior after Charlie has died seems like she's ready just to throw all of that out the window. Like, she doesn't believe in staying home with the kids, or she doesn't believe that her primary vocation is to be a mother, which I think that it is. With regard to being a Christian and supporting widows, I think that as a widow, Erika Kirk should be home with her children. She has the money to be home with them. She does not have to be the CEO, as you brought up. She is fully able and capable of being at home with those kids and having somebody who I think would be more qualified to run Turning Point USA do so. But she has decided that she is going to come into the spotlight, be the front man of Turning Point USA, be the CEO in the immediate aftermath of Charlie's death. And I think from what we've seen with what she's put out on social media, starting with her crying over the casket. I mean, again, there is not a social media moment or big moment that she will not pass up. And she's taken on Charlie's heavy travel tour while the kids are home with who knows who, nanny, whatever. Like, I don't know what her arrangements are with the kids, but she ain't with them. And I think that this fully contradicts who she said she was. And I don't think that it's who Charlie wants her to be. I truly don't believe that, because you see every moment of Charlie talking, even in engagements with Erika, of them talking about a more traditional Christian family with the mother in the home with their kids. Erika even talked about it right there in that clip that I shared for you. And now she is the CEO of Turning Point USA, which she's decided to take on herself by choice. And she is not taking the organization in a direction that I appreciate as somebody who's what I would call Orthodox conservative Christian, who is a non-evangelical Zionist Christian. Like, that's what I think. And my beef with Erika Kirk is kept to that right now. And I talked to my wife about this, because I don't want to be the type of person that is following falsehood. Like, I want to live in the truth. Like, I think it's very important for all of us to live in the truth. I don't think you can stay sane, honestly, and not live in the truth. So I talk to people about this, and I make sure that, like, these concerns that I'm bringing forth don't go too far and don't qualify as slander or gossip. And I don't want to fall into that. I don't want to. I want to be able to state clearly what my issues are with Erika, and I can say some of what my suspicions would be with regard to the Charlie Kirk investigation. And I think that what we've discussed is that I believe that it's bigger than Tyler Robinson. And if you want me to get even more bold, then I would say that one of my main concerns is that the state of Israel was involved in it. That's a concern of mine. I'm not saying that they're guilty or they're convicted. I'm saying that I am suspicious of that. I think they are a suspect. And I don't see that as being demonic or means that I have some dark mind. It means that these are patterns that I've recognized, and I'm expressing my opinions here on my channel, on my social media. And I don't think that's unfair.
I mean, I think that there's a lot of conjecture and a lot of, subjective position. Obviously, at the end of the day, I think it's really all going to just come down to we're going to have to wait until this trial plays out, because I think that that's going to be the huge moment for a lot of people. And unfortunately, our judicial system is at a crawl's pace. And so, we're looking at, I think they said that they're looking at scheduling anywhere from the end of 2026 to the very beginning, January or February of 2027. And so we've got a long way to go, people, before we get there. And I just hope that we don't kill each other. In the meantime, I hope that, we can continue having dialogue like this, where we can have people from opposite sides of the equation to meet and go over these things and kind of hash things out in a healthy way. Obviously, X is a cesspool, and everybody knows that. So, it's just, yeah. I mean, and I don't know, maybe at some point you and I can have another discussion at some point, Zach, and reconvene on some things. But I think that the way that we're doing it today is the healthier way to do this versus what we're seeing all over the internet, right? And I think that more people need to be open about having their views challenged, having people push back on you. That's good. That's healthy. It's not good to just sit in a room on your phone or behind your computer screen and never actually have to speak these things out loud and, have anybody challenge you or push back on you. For 10 years, I come from the pro-life space. I come from the abortion conversation. I have had some feral pro-choicers push back on me. Well, why do you believe that? What do you believe? Where does that come from? What is the purpose of human life? Why do we have human rights? Where does this stuff come from? And I've had to dissect and break all of this down in my own brain of why I believe what I believe, and how did I get from this point to this point, and why is human life valuable, and all of that stuff, right? And so it's no different with this. At some point, everybody has to kind of take a step back, take a breath, and be like, okay, how did I get from point A to point B? Why, lay it out, even write it out if you have to. How did I get from here to here? And it's okay to be challenged on that and have somebody push back on that. Again, I think that that's healthy to re-examine some of these things. So.
No, I do too. And I think that what we're seeing right now is we see a pretty heavy divide on the right. And I think that there are real issues that we need to be able to hash out. And, I think that what we did today is maybe hopefully a step forward in that direction. I don't know, right?
So.
I mean, hopefully it increases people's understanding, and maybe what it can at least do is help people understand. Hopefully, I don't know. You never know what the results are going to be on social media, but that maybe people on both sides aren't just super dark demonic forces. I feel like we're being criticized as being, to be honest with you. I feel like that shot is levied at what you can say is our side a lot. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that's fair.
For sure. And I mean, and now we're doing it to each other. We're becoming the thing that we say that we hate. And that's always a bad place to be, right? That's always scary. Don't let yourself become this monster again, because the internet can do that to you really quickly. You got to get out, in the words of Erika Kirk, get outside and go touch grass. Every once in a while, it's okay to walk away, put the computer down, put the phone down, and just go do real life things. I'm not saying that we shouldn't be engaged in the discussion. Of course, you need to know what's going on in the world. I'm not saying completely close yourself off, but you do need to take breaks and actually get some perspective every once in a while. It's not healthy to just stay attached to the internet all the time.
I don't know if we can finish this with a quote from Erika Kirk. I don't know if I can allow that. But to be honest with you, I feel like I heard Ben Shapiro quote that first, but I don't know if I want to end the quote. I don't know if I want to end this with a Ben Shapiro quote. All right. No, I'm joking. But anyway, look, Lisa, thank you for coming on. Like I said in the beginning, I used your video as commentary, and I thought that it was fair for you to come on to defend yourself. So, again, thank you for coming on. Thanks for the time. We're at almost the 2-hour mark. So I think, do you agree that it's a good time probably just to call it right here?
Yeah, I also have to go get my children from school. So.
Okay. All right, Lisa. Well, thanks for joining me. And good luck. Keep keep putting stuff out there. Keep stoking the fire, and let's keep this, hopefully healthy conflict raging on. So,
Absolutely. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
all right, you too. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, okay, everybody. Thank you for sticking through that. The chat's got a lot of messages. I think what we can take some time to do is go through some super chats, so we can kind of just have a post debate recap here, and we can talk through some of these things. I'm trying to get to the bottom of the chat here, but it looks pretty long. All right, let me just get here to the super chats. Let me shout out here to the new members that joined. Yoga Mama 2025 became a member. Thank you. Mary, thank you for becoming a channel member. And Guapa Grounded. Hey, I've seen that name. I think I've seen that name on X, following along. So I appreciate you. Thank you for becoming a member. Any of you guys that become a member, we're going to have a member only show. That should be at the end of this month. Thank you guys, though. All right, let's get through these. There's a lot of them, so let's roll through. But I want to hear what you guys think. I want to hear what you guys have to say. What are your thoughts about the debate? Do you think that I did a good job representing, what I think is a fair perspective on the criticism and dissent of Erika Kirk and Turning Point USA? And do you think I did a good job in defending Candace Owens? What do you think of how Lisa did? Let me know what you guys think. Jolin the Dream. Thank you for the super chat and the support. Thank you, Zach, for your commitment to truth. I'm a new fan. Yeah, I appreciate you. I mean, I hope that I was able to communicate that I am committed to truth. I think that's just what it comes down to. I think that there are things that we're being told that aren't the truth, and I want to live in truth. Hopefully I was able to communicate that. There was a lot of things that we went through, though. The content of the chat is inappropriate overall to come from a 25-year-old with a 15-year-old young girl. I think that is ultimately what it comes down to right there. To me, anything else that's talked about kind of above that is really just, we're kind of arguing about semantics, and we're arguing about time, or we're arguing about accuracy. But what we do know for sure is that this conversation was had between Erika and a 15-year-old girl. And that to me is inappropriate. I think the implications of that, because again, you can argue that this was not behavior. This behavior was done because she was at a different point of her life where her Christian faith wasn't as strong. Her moral character wasn't as developed, and fine. I mean, you can make that argument. But again, when it's this data point, along with the whole pattern of behavior recognition that we're all noticing, that very normal people are all noticing, pre-Charlie and post-Charlie, pre-Charlie, during Charlie, and then post-Charlie, we're getting the picture here that this is somebody that is not who she says she is. And that ultimately is, I thought my biggest issue, and I feel like I did communicate that during the debate. Thank you, Teresa, for the generous donation and super chat. A regular, I really appreciate you. We have Intuition Jen gifting more memberships, gifting 10 memberships. Intuition Jen, you are a gifting membership machine. Man, I really appreciate you. Thank you. Channel regular right there. Teresa, again, Zach, go Max. Anybody spin a crazy Zionist story about inappropriate text between a 15-year-old and 25-year-old girl? We all know no. Again, I agree. I agree. I think that the defense of what Erika said is shocking. I don't know why. I don't understand why they would care to die on that hill. Like, just be like, yeah, it's wrong. Her character wasn't as developed at the time. It's not right. Like, maybe she should issue a statement about it. Like, maybe she should come out and talk about it. I don't know. Ciara Louise, thank you. I'm a survivor. I'll say it, groomer. I mean, that's your perspective there, and you obviously have lived experience that I do not have. Yeah, I mean, again, like, one of the things that I thought Lisa did was, well, not that I thought she did. One of the things she did do was she named off a number of those kind of check boxes that would qualify one as a groomer. And I mean, what Erika did here qualified for like 3 of them, I think. Like, you have the sexual conversation, you have the potential isolation, and you have the lure to photographs or a location. And I don't think that preying on her vulnerable mom who is in poverty is a good argument against that. I also don't think that necessarily, I mean, look, you can say that the text messages didn't happen. You can say that Jillian was lying when she put those out there. But the whole point of this debate was because these text messages do exist. And like, we're going off of the information that we have right in front of us. So yeah, I mean, again, like, I didn't stretch as far as that to say that definitely I think Erika Kirk is a groomer. I think that what we saw as far as the text message goes are very suspicious activity that you would, as a parent, certainly not want your kid engaging in. I think Candace Owens said that it's every parent's worst nightmare. I would agree with that assessment. And if you were a parent and you saw your child talking that way to somebody online, you would do something because you'd be very worried that something was happening to that child. So I'll leave it at that. For those of us who are survivors, we see clearly grooming. Yeah, thank you, Intuition Jen. I think that kind of hits on the point that we just made there. Thank you. Enlightened, it can't be both ways. She's a liar or she's not. Yeah, I agree. I think that it's right. You can't go off the text messages like we were going. You can't go off the messages. Her saying that this is what Erika said, her saying these things were going to happen, and then be picky choosy about which ones you say you want to use versus the ones you don't. And I do think that Lisa did that. Rogue Dissident lies. You cannot privatize individual tweets. Never have been able to. So where did those new tweets come from? I covered this on my channel. I'll take a look at your channel. I haven't seen that, but that to me is a suspicion. Maybe you guys sensed that during that part of the debate when it's weird. They're all, this dump of tweets came in later, and then they're also all dated on the same day. But it seems like if you read them in context, like, these things aren't happening on the same day, which is weird. Yeah, it's strange, right? Like, where would these tweets just automatically come from and pop up? I don't know of any setting that you can do that on X. I could be wrong. Could be wrong. Been wrong about things before, guys. Mary Cravens, thank you. Sarah Phillips, she denied dating at all in her past last month. She's not honest about anything. I think that, because I think I said this and I think someone corrected me, that what is what Erika said? Did she say that she hadn't dated the 5 years prior to Charlie, or did she say that she hadn't dated at all? Because if she said she hasn't dated at all, like, that's a blatant lie, and that's clear because we see her dating a number of people. We see her on reality shows. We see her here in this exchange. We see her with the inappropriate messages that she was sending her girlfriends. Like, there's obviously, things going on from a dating and relationship type of thing. So yeah, I'm not sure about that. Anyway, maybe one of you guys can jump in here and leave a comment on that as to when precisely she said that. Rando, thank you. Exactly, Zach. This is how Erika is not honest and real. And this has nothing to do with Candace. We can't not see it. Good job debating this close-minded Candace derangement syndrome lunatic. I know you guys in the chat kind of go off a little bit. I thought that it was a productive conversation, and that's how I wanted to keep it. I didn't want to get into, personal attacks or, be accusatory or slander, get into gossip. And I think that we did a good job of that. I think we stuck to kind of the facts that we had in front of us, and we kind of stuck to the arguments. And I thought that it was fruitful and productive. I think, personally speaking, that I got the ideas that I wanted to get across. Um, am I perfect as far as how I communicated it? No, certainly not. I wouldn't claim to be, but I thought that I did a good job of communicating my side of the argument. And I think that what I tried to do was represent just our side in total as, not dark-minded demons who are just out to destroy everything. Like we want to know what the actual truth is. And sometimes, like I think she cited a Bible verse or one of God's instruction to us that said that something along the lines of like, the children of God bring peace or something like that. I mean, look, Christ said, I came not to bring peace, but to sow division, and that he was a sword that came to divide. And that's because the truth does not always yield peace. It does in the long term, I guess you would say, but it's not something that, if the truth needs to be said, oftentimes, most of the time, it's actually uncomfortable, and it divides. It's something that it's difficult to say, but you say it anyway. That's what the truth is. And sometimes the truth lands easy, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it creates significant division. I think we're in a situation now where we're really fighting for truth, and there's division that comes along with it, especially amongst the right and amongst the Christian community. Orthodox, believing traditional Christians versus kind of the evangelical Zionist Christians. We're seeing that right here play out in real time. But I want to hit that. Yeah, I mean, this is about Erika's behavior, and it's about what we all can observe and see in reality. It doesn't have anything to do with Candace. I think Candace is obviously, she's the prime mover in this space as far as her investigation goes, and for her kind of leading the charge, I guess you can say. But all of us can see and observe reality ourselves. And I think this pattern recognition is not something that, I think it exists outside of what Candace is doing. In fact, to be fair to Candace, it took her a lot longer than it took a lot of people to arrive at where we are with Erika. It's wrong. 1, UFO, thank you. It's wrong. 1, there is a power imbalance. 2, inappropriate content with boundary crossing may be considered grooming, not membership. And 3, there is secrecy in Erika's past. Where is your evidence, Lisa? You're obviously talking to Lisa. I can't answer that one, but I think with regard to the inappropriate content with boundary crossing may be considered grooming. I think that that's a fair way to put it. I think that's true. May be considered. I think this is the point that all of us are making. And then again, there's the secrecy in Erika's past. And then there's the video that I brought up of her communicating what her values turned into when she was married to Charlie. And now those values are not there. Okay, so this is what a lot of us are concerned about. Eric, what's up, man? It's not one thing, it's everything is sketchy with Erika Kirk. Yeah, it's, again, if you take one thing in isolation, it's not, well, you take that text message thread in isolation and it's still bad. It's still bad. Look, that's a hill that I'm dying on, okay? A hill that I'm dying on is that is an inappropriate conversation. And if me as a father saw one of my kids having that, I will beat this into the ground. I would be livid. Livid. That person would never be talking to my child again. So again, you take a number of these different things in isolation. You take how she presented herself on the reality TV show where she's laughing about sex sells and just how she's conducting herself. And then you learn more about, her family's involvement and what they were into. And she's in CIA or government contracting commercials, ads or whatever she was in. And then you have her marry Charlie, and then she's all of a sudden this trad wife talking about conservative Christian values, and then how she would, be home with her kids, preaching about how she'd be home with her kids and how you can always join the workforce later once they get older. And then CEO, America's new boss babe of Turning Point USA. And not a social media moment that she's going to miss out on. Not if it's Charlie's corpse or it's her mom about to pass away, which, again, these are sensitive moments, and she is just willing to put them right out there. So I agree with you. It's the whole picture. It's the whole picture of pattern recognition that I think a lot of us just kind of normal-based people all see. Thanks, Eric. Rogue Dissident. Sounds like she should quit her job. Who should? It sounds like she should quit her job. I don't know if you're talking about Erika or if you're talking about Lisa. I think you might be talking about Lisa for when she said that she was a mother, but also a working mother. I think you're making like kind of a conservative or traditional Christian joke there that she should quit her job because she's a woman that shouldn't be in the workforce. I think that's the argument that you're making there. Look, I speak from my own experience. My wife stays at home with our kids. Okay. It's my responsibility to go out and produce and hunt and bring back for the family. All right. That's what I'm doing here. Let's go. But my wife stays at home, and it's been a game changer for our family. Our kids are way better off for it. My wife is an absolute beast when it comes to running a household. You see the feminine genius on full display with the woman at home, in my opinion. There's nothing more beautiful about it. That's the way that I see it. And there's nothing more inspiring for me as a man to know that my wife is at home reliant on me to go out and produce. It does something within me that just enkindles and fires me up to go out and produce for her and our family. It's like I can't fail, and I won't. Good stuff. Erika, a tight leather pants, Kirk. That is quite the handle. I wonder how much Israel paid her for this. Yeah, Erika wearing the leather pants was something that actually my wife, that was kind of like one of the first things that kind of caught my wife's attention, of being like, that's kind of not appropriate. That's kind of weird. That's attention seeking. Not something you'd expect from traditional conservative preacher. I wonder how much Israel is paying her for this. A concern. It's a concern. We know that Israel is certainly active in who it's paying, influencer-wise and organization-wise throughout America, whether it's registered with FARA or not. North of Cincinnati, thank you. Zach, you say Erika is not who she said she is. So what exactly do you want to see done? Thank you. I think that I was clear about that in my conversation with Lisa. It's twofold. Okay. It's two things that I think that I would have liked to see, or that I thought would have been believable. You saw that clip that I shared of her explaining to the audience when she was with Charlie what the ideal situation should be for a mother of young children. I think that I agree with Erika. You heard me just communicate how me and my wife have it set up. I think that Erika's primary role and her vocation right now is to be the mother of her children. I don't think that Erika needed to take over as CEO of Turning Point USA. Charlie and Erika have a ton of money. I don't know what the life insurance policy was, but even so, they make a lot of money from their businesses. And I want to be clear about that. One of the things that I did not bring up is I saw that Lisa had something about Erika, how she's not taking the salary from Turning Point USA. And that's from the nonprofit that they have, which is the 501c3, where Charlie paid himself, I think, like $236,000 and some change, I think is that number. Something along those lines, low 200,000s. And she's refused that. And Lisa had brought that up as like a flex for Erika. That, this shows that she's a good person. She's not taking this money from Turning Point USA. Look, The Charlie Kirk show and the media company that they have that he owns with Andrew Colvett, that's the big money maker. That's the big money maker. And they have ownership in that. And that's a for-profit business. Okay? That's where they make all their money. They make money from the media side of things. Charlie Kirk's media empire is significant. All right? They make a lot of money from that. And Erika has a tie in that. So let's not act like or pretend that it's some major sacrifice that she's not taking the $200,000 a year salary from Turning Point USA. She's making good money, whether she's working or not. Okay? So I think that Erika should have been the one to hire a CEO for Turning Point USA. And she could have made spot appearances and had done, kind of cameos and inserted herself where she wants while she's able to be home and be the primary caretaker of her kids. Say that she just wanted to get into the CEO role because she was so passionate about continuing Charlie's mission. I think I thought this early on. It's like, all right, like maybe the thing that's helping her, the thing that's helping Erika is her like kind of getting to work for Charlie. That's how she felt best to carry on his legacy. What I would have loved to see then is for her to take charge. I would have loved to see her cut all the ties with all of the Zionist donors that were making Charlie's life a living hell. Charlie refused to be bought by anybody. He refused to have his tongue tied by anybody. I would have loved for her to just come out and be like, look, we're going to raise this money from the people because we are a people's organization. That's what Turning Point USA was under Charlie. He had his finger on the pulse of young people better than anybody in the country. I would have loved to see Erika just burn the bridges with all of those Zionist donors that made Charlie's life a living hell. And I would have loved to see her take the lead on being vocal about the Charlie Kirk investigation to make sure that we have the truth. And I would have loved to see her say, like, look, I don't care if it's inside or out. Like we had failures at Turning Point USA, and I want those investigated. Like, I mean, you can say there was a security failure. Obviously, when Donald Trump got assassinated, when he almost got assassinated in Pennsylvania, we were calling for the firing of everybody in the Secret Service. Why are we not talking about that when it comes to Turning Point USA and the security failures? That obviously that was the case. Apparently, somebody at Turning Point USA is the one that scheduled the venue against the wishes of UVU. Who did that? Fire them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, these are obvious failures that resulted in the death of the founder, of the leader of the organization. And instead of doing all that, instead of holding all of these people accountable for their failures, whether they were involved in the assassination or not, their behavior and their decision-making prior to Charlie being killed, I think, deserves accountability. I think they deserve to be held accountable for that. And I would have liked to see Erika take care of that. And she didn't. She just stepped in, and it's kind of like, don't talk about my family, which is Turning Point USA. Stop asking questions about the narrative about who killed him. And then it's just continue on. Look how much money we make through merch sales, and let's just keep this money flowing in. I don't like it. And as I said, I don't like the direction that Turning Point USA is going, just as a general organization from a Zionist standpoint. They don't have the ear of President Trump anymore. Charlie had the ear of President Trump. He's the one that talked him out of an invasion of Iran and talked him into doing Midnight Hammer against Bibi Netanyahu's wishes. There's no influence on behalf of the people that Charlie had being done now by the Erika Kirk-led Turning Point USA. She doesn't have it. It's not there. She tried to become a social media star. She didn't do it. She married Charlie Kirk, and now she's in this position. And she just doesn't have it. She didn't make it on her own. She made it because of what Charlie built. I think she should have hired someone who's a CEO who has maybe that it factor that can go in and have the president's ear and be a voice of the people. As I've said, Turning Point USA is now just a little too Zionist and feminist for me. All right, let's keep going. We got to roll, man. There's a lot here, and I am not even close to being done. Come on, let's go. Holy Fire Luna, keep going, Max. Zach, Christ is King. Amen. Thank you. I appreciate you. Sarah Phillips, thank you. All the evidence is shown prior to trial. Again, this trial is going to hopefully answer questions for us, but I'm skeptical. I really am skeptical they're going to tell us the truth and that it's all going to come out. Holistic, thank you. 700 club, 7,000K club, 7,000K. $7,000 club called. They want to refund. Bad ROI. I'm assuming you're talking about Lisa, hopefully being paid by Israel, and she did not deliver for them. I think that I won the debate. Of course. You know, I hope, you know, I think that that's what everybody thinks. Well, I think maybe some people can objectively probably think they lose a debate, but I think that I made all the points that I wanted to make. And I think I represented my views, my ideas, and, you know, a lot of people that follow me, I think that I represented our ideas well. And maybe we can get the other side to stop calling us demons and dark, but I doubt it. Dolores, thank you for the very generous super chat there. I appreciate you. These are so helpful, guys, to the support of the channel. Thank you so much. GV Nikki, why does Candace have to have someone on her show? Candace is genuine in her research and admits if she gets something wrong. Yeah, Candace has, I think she refers to and reaches out to experts all the time. I definitely didn't agree with Lisa's assessment on that. I do think that Candace does good research. I don't think it's slop as Lisa said that it was. And she has admitted that when she's got something wrong, she admits it. This has happened many times. And of course, nobody talks about that. They don't give her the benefit of the doubt, guys. There's a double standard that's applied, and it doesn't apply to Candace. Or I'm sorry, the double standard applies to Candace. GV Nikki, why not help Candace and be against her? This is a great question. It's a great question. As soon as Candace came out and started talking, they started this coordinated campaign against her. They started diagnosing her with all these things. They started saying that she was making all this stuff up, that she was lying. And it was completely unfair. Look, I'll be honest with you guys. I did not I paid attention to Candace. But I wasn't watching her show on a daily basis, not nearly as much as I am now. I watched a little bit, you know, I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys and open. I watched a few of the episodes on Blake Lively. Entertaining, you know, but it's not like world-changing stuff necessarily, but it was interesting. She ended up being right about a lot of that stuff. But as far as like, I would listen to some of Candace's takes, and I agreed with, you know, a good number of the things that she was talking about, but that she was just talking about topics that I wasn't necessarily interested in. So it's not like she was a part of my regular listening. When she started the Charlie Kirk investigation, that's when I really started to listen to her. And when I saw just the unfair attacks going against her, when I was just like, whoa, hold on. Like, the stuff that she's producing right now, especially early on, which is really just calling out the behavior of a lot of the Zionists. And she brought out like the Hamptons meeting. She brought out the initial text messages. That information, I still think is gold. Is gold. And there was a coordinated campaign against her from day one. From day one. Eric Bolling going on Patrick Bet-David and lying about the breakup that Charlie Kirk had with her. Josh Hammer, and Seth Dillon and all of these guys coming out to say that she was lying about like what went on at the Hamptons retreat. And all of this stuff has just turned out to be true. From day one, I sensed that she was being treated unfairly and unjustly. And I think that that's become obvious, and I think it's just gotten worse. And if I guess what my perspective on it is, if we were all pursuing the truth in good faith to the fullest extent, then people would be more helpful to Candace than they are to organize against her right now. Thank you. Oh, GV Nikki again. Wow, thanks a lot. Lisa doesn't comment with facts, just nonsense. Practice what you preach, Lisa. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Look, what I don't want to get into is Lisa's not here to defend herself. This, obviously, you commented on this probably while the debate was going on. I thought that definitely some of the things that she said didn't add up with regard to being picky choosy about what's considered, an acceptable text message to look at versus what's not. Yeah, I definitely think that was unfair. And I think that there was just like things that were speculated about that I don't think were necessarily fair. I mean, maybe she'd say the same thing about me. I don't know. Alpha Jerk BFH. Ever notice the loudest voices are usually the most ignorant? This chick is lost. I don't think it's fair to say that everybody. Did she get loud? I don't know. We can all be passionate, guys. We can all be passionate, right? But I would say if you typically have to resort to yelling and screaming, then something is probably off. So I can't say I disagree with you there. I thought it was productive, though. I thought it was productive. I feel good about it. I don't know. Maybe I have to go back and watch it to really know. And of course, there's always going to be some things I go back and like, dang, like I wish I should have capitalized on that. I wish I should have said that. But I mean, as you guys all know, when you're sitting here and it's live and you're thinking on your feet with some notes, it's not that easy. It's not that easy. I mean, I think we were both prepared for our argument. I don't think her argument was right, but we were both prepared. Like, she had a number of slides to pull up, and we ended up, I think, only referring to 2 of them. So again, you prepare, and then you get into it and you don't even use the stuff that you prepared with. I did use and refer to some of my notes, but I certainly didn't get to everything that I wanted to get to. GV Nikki, yeah, I mean, I appreciate the support. I love it. Candace's will come through in all good time. She's working on a lot. Yeah, I think we've seen this. We've seen this, and I've even had an issue, an apology to Candace because I doubted her. The Justin Strife situation, she took her a while to mention, and she did deliver on it. So I owed her an apology. And to be open and honest with you guys, I've been skeptical about the Mitch Snow source that she has. But I'm not willing to. What I'm not going to do is I'm not going to discount her. I'm going to let and see how these things play out. I'm open-minded. I'm not going to close my mind off. And I just feel like that's what so many people have done with regard to this. And I think that it's the closing off of your mind that has caused this unfair treatment. Mom's Love, I appreciate the donation. Thank you very much. Peaceful Star Love, thank you. She lost this argument when she brought up Candace. Zach, you have great talking points. Erika Kirk behavior is wrong. Thank you for that. I appreciate that feedback. I agree with you. I just think Erika Kirk was wrong. And I think it's difficult to defend that behavior. I don't know why you'd want to defend that behavior. That's my stance. And I made that clear to Lisa. I said that to her. Mom loves you. I know my mom loves me. I think Erika turned more of us from TPUSA than Candace did. I agree. They think this, like, they use this term like Candace cult or the candy cult. Candace has her perspective. She's delivering. When we've talked about the value that Candace has brought to the table. We are discerning beings. We don't think Candace is God that can observe things and observe reality on our own. This is not something that, like, oh, because you follow Candace Owens, this is what you've arrived at. I mean, this is observation of reality. I agree with you. Zach, MLK Jr. thought with a 30-06 ammunition, just like Charlie Kirk. The bullet went into his jaw, passed into his neck, hit bone, and did not exit his body. The bullet did not exit. The bullet that did not exit was found in his body. That is an example of a 30-06 not passing through. I have heard the argument that, look, I'm skeptical that Tyler Robinson is the lone wolf. I am skeptical of that narrative. What I will say is that I believe Charlie was shot. Okay? I'm going to say that. I believe Charlie was shot. I would love to see more evidence that he was shot from that specific location. Again, I'm open-minded, but here's what I will share with you. I have seen many people say that a 30-06 would definitely pass through. And they say it definitively, like it would pass through. I also have heard from perspectives of people who know this stuff. Like, and when I say know, the source that I'm referring to is a friend of mine who's a Green Beret who has done multiple tours. And let's just say he knows how this type of stuff works. He knows the damage that guns can do to the human body. I'll let you guys come to a conclusion on what you think that actually means. He has said that it's very unlikely, but there is the possibility that it did not. This is something that I suspend judgment on. Like, we see how things play out. It's like, okay, you log the information. But what I don't think is healthy to do is to just be like, you take the hard stance either way here. Like, to say like the 30-06 is the hinge issue that you are basing this entire large operation conspiracy around, that to me is imprudent, I guess you can say. But for the argument to be made to provide doubt and skepticism of that 30-06 being made, you can certainly make that argument, because the odds are is that it would pass through. And then you have the rifle in the woods, and then you have the bullet engravings, and could have it potentially been planted? Could Tyler have been the pickup guy? Like, these are things that I am willing to be open-minded about. I'm not arriving at any conclusion. I'm open-minded. I want to listen to multiple angles. Who I can't listen to, who I cannot listen to, are the people that have just closed their mind off. Tyler Robinson did it. Give him the death penalty so we can move on. And anybody who questions this, you're an evil, dark-minded, you're a sinner. How can you call yourself a Christian? That's what I can't accept. That's what I can't accept. I appreciate your comment here. I do appreciate that, because I am aware of the fact that Martin Luther King Jr. was shot with a 30-06. Didn't his family file for conspiracy, though, against the CIA? Look, guys, this is some crazy stuff, all right? We don't want those conspiracies. We want to know the truth. And that's why I think this public pushback, this open source investigation, where you're finding the leads, exposing them, naming names, that's why I think it's needed. Okay, you go down holes, they turn up empty. You uncover some stones, there's nothing there. You pursue leads that turn out to be a dead end. You name names that maybe you shouldn't have named. This is where we're at in this day and age. You have years and years of covering stuff up, and guess what you get? You get a Candace Owens. Gus and Tiny. Thank you. Lisa Honey, there are big gaps in your arguments, lots of spaces in your logic. That's to Lisa, so there's nothing I can really add to that. Thank you, though. Thank you for the comment. Woobs in Finance knows what Erika and the rest of TPUSA have done. Danks knows Candace. Danks knows Candace knows. Baron Coleman. Dumb girl. Wake up. I mean, a lot of those people are conducting and looking into this as well. And there are a number of people that, again, have just recognized the pattern recognition. Thank you. Dean, God is good. Christ is king. Amen. Love that. Miss Reaney, And there it is. She is a Zionist. Lisa doesn't know. Lisa doesn't know. Yeah, I don't think that we are going to come to an agreement on Christian Zionism. To be honest with you, I need to educate myself better on the book of Revelation. My hunch is that she is confusing the Israel of Revelation with the current state of Israel. My concern is that she is confusing who Jesus was and what Jesus did with the coming and where he's actually going to come and who's going to be forgiven. But that is a topic that I need to educate myself on. I need to be more educated on the book of Revelation and how it relates to all of this. But this is something that we can all do. We can go back into the history and the teachings on all of this and find out what those are. And I will do that. So I did feel challenged, to be honest with you, in that certain circumstance. But so I appreciated that pushback. I appreciated that perspective from her, because I feel like it actually opened my mind to something that I need to be more educated on. So, a little bit of pruning there for me. So I do appreciate that. But she is a Zionist. And again, she's a Christian Zionist. And you guys have heard me say this time and time again. It's a man bike, man bicycle. It's a female ball, right? These things are contradictory terms. It's an oxymoron, right? So as it relates to being a Christian Zionist, I would agree that Lisa doesn't know. Another comment directed at Lisa. Lisa, chill. You are a Christian. Gus and Tiny. I swear to St. Paul commanding that women should be silent and not speak in the churches is sounding good right now. Love others and get help. You are completely brainwashed. All right. Again, I mean, that's a shot at Lisa. So we will continue on. I know you guys in the chat can get hot. All right. He had a Catholic funeral confirmed by Erika Kirk. And that would be just further evidence that he was drifting more towards kind of the more Orthodox Christianity, away from Zionist Christianity. And I think that is something that you see a lot of, like, the legacy hijackers really try to pull away. You really see them get sensitive about that issue. And that is a piece of evidence. Again, this is something that Candace has brought to the table, a valuable piece of information, because it sheds light on this whole shift in Charlie's perspective in the last 6 months of his life. And those Zionists made his life a living hell because of this shift in perspective. Again, this is something that we observe from reality. Lisa is trying too hard and is confused. Appreciate your super chat. And again, that's directed toward Lisa. So there's nothing that I can really say about that. She's not here to defend herself. We did talk about trying to go through the super chat together, but you heard she had to leave to go pick up her kids. So Andrea Barron, thank you. Charlie appeared on Megyn Kelly right before his death, and he said he was being bullied, and that was right after the Hamptons meeting. Yeah, and that's another example of him expressing frustration, which he did on multiple occasions himself prior to him passing away. And I mean, shoot, Megyn Kelly has been pretty outspoken about the fact that she suspects and she wants to know if Israel was involved. That's something that Megyn Kelly has come out and straight up said, because she knows the pressure that Charlie was under, and she refers to that show, but she also talks about the multiple occasions that Charlie and her had in private conversations. She was there when Charlie told Tucker to go max. She was there. She was there when Charlie said that to her. So she knows something, and she's suspicious of something. And that's why she has not been outspoken about what Candace is doing. She said that. Like, that's a direct quote from Megyn Kelly. She was concerned, so that's why I'm not asking them questions. And you have the whole Zionist lobby that is doing the same thing that they do against Megyn Kelly. Thank you. Casey Blevins, yeah, so regular here, thank you. How could a single mom afford all of those things for the photo shoot? And moms being there mean nothing. Plenty of kids were groomed by their gymnastics teacher. Yeah, really good point. A really good point. And, one of the critiques that I have of Lisa's argument was that she talks about how the mother wasn't a good mother, but then she talks about how, but because the mother was there and took her to the photo shoot, that then nothing nefarious was happening. And I just don't think that's a good argument. Another one from you. Romantic 16th birthday gift to her house. Good point. Yeah, I didn't bring that up at all. I didn't bring that up of the chocolates and the gift that she had gave. Good point. I wasn't looking as much in the chat during the debate. I was trying to stay as focused as possible and listen to what she had to say. I did open the chat a couple times, and I realized it was distracting because I wasn't listening to Lisa. I was reading what you all were saying in the chat. And, there were fans of hers, there were fans of mine. So it ended up just being a distraction. Thank you for that, though. That's true. Another one from you. Appreciate you. Young and dumb, 25-year-old Erika, all her fault and liar. 15-year-old child. I agree with you. There's just no excuse. There's no excuse. What she did was inappropriate, and you can't argue against that, especially if you're a parent and you have kids. I truly thought the debate was just going to be boring. I think we covered a good amount of the topics, but I thought it was going to be boring because that's my perspective on it. It's really not that complicated. Thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate you. Dawn, you became a member. Awesome. Welcome. Another member shout out here. Woman of many hats. Thank you. Thanks for becoming a member. We'll be doing that member show here soon at the end of the month. Stay on the lookout for that announcement. I'll let you guys know in a show. She picked up a young girl, Andrea. She picked up a young girl who had self-esteem issues and no father in the home, and showered her with compliments and set her up with a photographer. Really, this is why this supports my argument that I don't think that Erika Kirk had good or positive intentions. I don't think that she was just looking out to be a mentor, a good Christian mentor of this young girl. I think that she was luring her for something. And that could have been pageantry. It could have been to make money off of this girl by referring her into the pageant world. There seems to be a good amount of evidence for that. But yeah, she was a vulnerable girl. And I'll say this. She was at least doing that. She was at least doing that to recruit her into the pageant world. And I think that that's obvious because I think once she realized that something wasn't going to happen, communication ended immediately. If she was really looking to care about Jillian and she really cared about her outcome as a Christian, you'd think there'd be more follow-ups after this. There wasn't. It was a complete cutoff in communication. So I made that argument to Lisa that this tells me that Erika realized she wasn't going to get what she wanted from the girl, and then she cut ties with her. I think that's logical. I think that follows. So she was at least, I think, grooming her, luring her, recruiting her to be a pageant girl. And she saw a girl who was in poverty, and she saw a vulnerable single mother and child, and she tried to capitalize on that. And that's a problem. That's a problem. And that's I think the most charitable view that you can give Erika. I know that there are claims that it was worse than that. And I think there's an argument to be made there. There is an argument to be made. That's what I think. That's what I believe. Teresa, thank you. Zach, I got to go. Can't listen anymore to a paid podcast or sent by Zionist and Turning Point. It's heartbreaking. Christ is King. Love your channel. Well, thank you for sticking around for as long as you possibly could. Ms. Mack, thank you. I have to agree that Erika Kirk was just trying to sound cool to a fan of hers. Didn't realize how far the girl would take it. But that doesn't take away that Erika Kirk is suspect in Charlie Kirk's death. Wow. Okay. That's interesting. So yeah, sounding cool. Whew. Man, that text message said that this all hinges on of you just continuing a typo of sex, and then saying that sex not with you, and then saying that you don't bat for the other team just yet. Oh, again, if that's how you joke, it's not funny and it's inappropriate. And then I think when you tack it on to the fact that I really believe she was recruiting her for pageantry, again, I think there was nefarious activity there. And you think that Erika Kirk is a suspect in the death of Charlie Kirk. I am open-minded and I want the full truth to be revealed. New member, Carol, thank you. We got 3 new members here, and then we have another. So Catherine, thank you for becoming a member. And then we've got another gift of 10 memberships. My goodness, this is awesome, you guys. Thank you so much. Wow. All right, we're at 2 hours and 40 minutes. We got a couple more here, and then we're going to wrap this. It's the longest I've ever been on a live before. Numbers aren't doing too bad. They've stayed pretty steady for a 2.5 hour, 2 hour, 40-minute show. Rando, I appreciate you taking the high road and being respectful of Lisa. Good influence. I shouldn't have called her a lunatic. Hey, it's cool. We all get hot. But here's where I'm at, guys. I'm a Christian. And what really drives me insane are these people out there that are saying, like, you can't be Christian if you are X. What I was at least trying to do was have a conversation where the side that is criticizing or dissenting against Erika Kirk could at least be understood. I know who I am. I know in my heart how I feel about people. And I truly want to get to the truth in good faith so that we can move forward and we can continue building up America to what it could be. I want to build up the church. Like, and there is a serious division going on right now, and there are real conversations that need to be had. And I hope that this contributed at least to the building up and the solving of these problems. All right. So I appreciate you. No, I appreciate it. I mean, shoot, we all lose our cool and we all get hot and we all have to admit that we're wrong sometimes. We're freaking human beings. Casey, a mother can be replaced by anyone in the workplace. A mother can be replaced by no one in the home. Amen. Amen. Erika's primary vocation is to her children. And that is a critical point that we need to make. And look, she did cite scripture as far as how we should treat widows. And I didn't bring this up at the time, but I want to read this to you guys. This is from 1 Timothy chapter 5. Rules for widows. Honor widows who are truly widows. But if a widow has children or grandchildren, let these first learn to perform their religious duty to their own family and to make recompense to their parents, for this is pleasing to God. The real widow who is alone has set her hope on God and continues in supplications and prayers night and day. But the one who is self-indulgent is dead while she lives. Okay? That's 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 3 through 5. I'm sorry, 3 through 6. Scripture does not call us to support widows no matter what their behavior is. The traditional Orthodox Christian view of what a widow should do is be with her kids and rely on the community to provide for her. And we as Christians are supposed to be there for widows and do that, to provide for them and to help them. It does not mean take over your husband's massively influential and powerful company and be the CEO and the front man of it. I mean, we're allowed to criticize that, and there's biblical justification for it. the unlicensed take. New huge fan. Thank you so much for your voice and truth. I love that you didn't just report on this, but you actually had her on to discuss. I obviously disagree with her, but very interesting. Bravo. Yeah, look, I covered her videos and she reached out to me saying that I misrepresented them and she wanted the chance to defend herself. And I think that allowing that and having these conversations is a great thing. I feel good about how the conversation went and I'm glad that she came on. Last one here. And then this is it, guys. Imagine Lisa's kids receiving Erika Kirk's messages. What would Lisa do then if not gaslight her own child? That's a great point. It's just a great point for all of us who are parents to take on that perspective. If there was an individual, if there was a famous person, a famous, successful pageant girl, Miss Arizona, was talking with your son or daughter who was underage, 15, on social media this way, and that was happening to your own child, what would you do? What would you do? We all know. We all know the truth here, guys. It was inappropriate. Shouldn't have happened. That's it. That's the argument. That's where we're coming from. All right. All right. That's it. Wow. All right. Thank you guys, everybody, for joining today. Thank you all for sticking around. All of you guys that did stick around. I am going to be off for the weekend and I will plan to see you guys on Monday of next week. For those of you who are new here, if it's the first time you're hearing about me because you came here to see this debate and were interested in it and you're still here, then make sure you hit the subscribe, like this video, send this out for the algorithm, and make sure you're joining me here Monday through Friday. I go on between 2 and 3 p.m. and I'll go typically for about 45 minutes, plus or minus 10. That's typically how I like to keep it. I try to keep it as efficient, but I like to engage with you guys here as well. Check out ZachCostello.com. I've got some merch there. If you guys want to get some One Nation Under God gear, God First merch, then please go ahead and check that out. That's also a good way to support the channel. But I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you guys on Monday. I hope you guys have a great weekend.